Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings,
And ourselves.
we stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds, let in the love,
and listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world heroes among us and every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts. Together we can grow a better place with love in us soul. And you will find together we can save it all. And you will find a place called home, where
Rawr. Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds, let in the love,
And listen with your hearts.
we all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world heroes among us and every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts, together we can grow a
nice. We'll be talking about it all every Thursday night, from software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam, with the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
So, tune in and lend us your ears.
In the dark.
There he is.
He's in the dark. Needs to plug in. He needs to plug in a light, but I guess he can wait.
We won't be in the dark for long, because I hope you're caffeinated tonight properly. We're going to hit one of our favorite subjects lately that has been causing quite a lot of debate in the back rooms. AI can't escape it in 2026.
Yeah. Is it a tool or is it a takeover? I mean, that's the question. I see it both sides. I can see the side that people are on where they say, oh, it's coming to take over everybody's job and everything else. But I also see the side where AI is a tool that can be used to enhance the work that people do. And people can, make themselves more productive by using AI to, assist them in their job, to do things that are that are easy for AI to do, that are easy to offload, let's say, to AI, and let them handle those things, and we take care of the other stuff. And that kind of, you get that partnership going.
See, and that's the glass half full kind of mentality there, that in my debates, especially over the last week, because our resident metalhead, Jason, he's been debating with some people over on BandLab about AI when it comes to music, where it's a little different of a debate there than when we're talking people generating graphics or making little 8-second clips and things like that versus making songs.
And claiming to have made them. That's the other thing, is a lot of times it's not even whether AI is used or not, it's whether AI is used and the people are saying, I did this, or whether it was AI was used and they say AI was used in the making of this. I mean, it's really as simple as that for most of it. Like most people would have way less of a problem if people weren't saying, look what I did, and not mentioning that it was AI and trying to claim that it was something they did.
Yeah, and what Jason's been trying to really drill into some of the AI advocates who are very happy to use it to make their songs. In some cases they're lyricists, so they're not necessarily musicians, and they want to be able to write their words and use the AI as a tool to get music for those words.
Right.
It's the transparency that he's been really questioning, because some of these artists don't disclose how they're doing it, what they're using it for. They just kind of represent the songs on a platform like BandLab. You put up a post and say, here's a new song I made. Some people get the impression that you actually made the song, and that just typing in some words some musicians don't consider that songwriting.
Right.
And to Jason's point, and then what I think me and him have both talked about is one of the concerns when you've got young, possibly budding songwriters who want to learn how to songwrite, want to um, grow in that way. They sometimes shortchange themselves by depending on it to do the songwriting for them. It's like a kid who doesn't learn math, just depends on a calculator, never learns the process of 2 plus 2. They just use a machine to give them an answer. And this is where AI can be questionably dangerous, not being a tool, but becoming like, a go to do something you should learn in your process.
Yeah, it's not a replacement for thinking. It's not a replacement for creativity. It's something for you to use to amplify your creativity.
Yeah, yeah. And what we're going to look at tonight, as far as on the music side goes, we're going to look at a little bit at where AI technology is, and where it's going to go in 2026. But we're also going to look at some tools that I think truly fit the definition of an AI tool, something that, when it comes to making music, isn't going to impede on your ability to learn how to write a song, hopefully helps you in the process.
Exactly. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. To the IT king.
Hey,
let me around and let's see what we've got for tonight. To start, news. Like again, when I go to look in our channels now and our subscribers that we go to, um, this in the last day has started to hit the news over there, and I think it's kind of a big deal. Reason is one of those DAWs we've mentioned in the past. There was a time where Reason was a very important one, the 2008 to 2018 period. A lot of the standards that we saw go into VSTs and other things, Reason and Rewire were a big part of getting all that stuff together. And then the company became a privately owned company, and other DAWs really started to take over and become more popular, and it kind of fell by the wayside. The company that was running it wasn't really looking to improve it. They were more concerned about making money off the technology and not actually keeping up with the other DAWs that were becoming available. Well, LANDR, a company that's known for AI mastering, and they offer several different services in that field, have purchased Reason, and this is an interesting development. I could see Reason coming back into the picture, depending on what LANDR has plans for there. If they acquire something like this, and with their mastering services and the other things they're doing, you could possibly see a BandLab competitor grow out of this merger here.
Yeah, it kind of depends on which direction they want to take it, right?
Yeah. And the Chris Holyman effects, one of the ones that I came across on this news, gives a good description of the details and what they might be looking for in this acquisition.
Right.
And to go from there, one thing where AI has helped a lot is with programmers.
Yeah.
And we both feel that the future of coding and the future of programming is headed in this direction where you're going to use AI to kind of get your codes together, especially when you have to deal with multiple languages to develop. And there is some products out there that have promised, code-free development with AI. They've always fell short of those promises, but Rocket is an interesting one. And AI Revolution, a channel that we should have been following already with all our AI, but we are now. And they're going to show us this solution from Rocket that promises and might be able to deliver on that.
Nice. And again, it's one of those things where the co-pilot or having AI assist you in your code is not the same thing as the AI writing the code for you necessarily. You would want to ask it, for assistance to describe the problem that you're trying to solve. It can, dig into the code libraries and build something for you, and you would still have to check what it does. I mean, that's the
exactly. Even if a company decides to go with a solution like this for their building their solutions, they're going to need some human programmers who do understand the languages that the AI is working in. And just like when you have human programmers and you have a manager who's double checking and making sure there's no bugs and things in the code, AI can do the same thing, and you need to be able to double check it. You need people who understand what they're looking at.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that AI. One of the things that all AI seems to do is hallucinate and make up answers. And it's one of those things that's part of the answer set that it's supposed to give. It's can confidently tell you the wrong answer. And when it comes to code, you don't want that because that introduces bugs, that introduces problems, and you have to really go through and make sure whether you're looking at the code line by line or whether you're rigorously testing the code to make sure that you're getting the results you're supposed to get from every input that you're giving it. I mean, there are ways to do it. There are ways systematically to do it. There are ways programmatically to do it, but you have to make sure you check it.
Yeah, and it's still going to take humans to do the beta testing and the heavy lifting after the code's been put together.
Yeah.
And one of the things that might be causing some of that hallucinating in the AI industry is the approach that they've taken in building AI. And large language models has been kind of the norm for some time now in how these engines have approached prompting and how the AI is learning. Well, there's a new kind that is starting to come out that might fix or alleviate some of that hallucinating in its approach. And Future Sketch Lab is going to explain it to us, and they suggest this is better than large language models, and we could be seeing some interesting new AI engines with this. They've got tests on the engines that they run to see how natural and effective. It's like an IQ test for the AI.
Right.
And some of these tests are getting interesting results with these new approaches.
Even with the old approaches, even with the LLMs, in some cases you can do better with using like a panel of agentic AIs, where you have, one that's more aggressive in its coding, one that's more conservative in its coding, one that's more, like you have each one has kind of a personality profile, each of the AIs that you have lined up, let's say on your panel. And then, you have a chairman on the panel who basically gets the input from all the others, can weigh, how much to decide, how much weight is this worth? How much weight is that worth? And, come up with the best solution based on that, rather than just having one AI just spit answers at you.
Yeah. And you've mentioned in the past, like taking that kind of modular AI approach where you use this AI for this function, use this AI for that function. And I do think you're going to start to see more of that as these engines start to work together.
Even when it comes to breaking down different problems, like we've talked about before, how some problems are much more CPU type of problems, and other problems are much more GPU type of problems. And being able to, properly offset or properly hand off, I should say, the things, the types of decision making, or the types of problems that you want to solve, that you want to send to the GPU, need to all go to the GPU, and the ones that you want to go to the CPU need to go there. So you have to have the threads going to the right places to most optimally get the things solved. And same idea when it comes to regular computing versus quantum computing. If you had a mix of needs and you're trying to do things that were well designed for quantum computing type solutions, you would still want to have regular computing, directing everything where it's trying to go. So it's a matter of using the right mix, the right mesh of all the different things, and having a good pilot, essentially sending everything to the right places for the most optimal solutions.
Yeah. And we have another CPU that's AI driven now. That's going to start to change things.
Yeah.
And yes, Ange, bring on the Glenn.
There you go. And I did see one just the other day, an ad for it's the first one I've seen of just dedicated AI hardware, rather than it being like your phone, doing the AI locally in the phone. It was a small like pod or whatever that is just a small hardware attachment. And it reminded me of like the Star Trek communicator. Like, doesn't look like that, but it's just a small device that has no screen or interface or buttons, things like that. But it's just there to enable the using of AI, essentially.
Yeah, I almost included a hardware video tonight that is another one of these that it actually looks like a pen. But it has a camera, and and it's coming from OpenAI and ChatGPT.
Nice.
And we were a wild band. He fixes more AI mistakes in his job than it solves. I bet you that is a big problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is a lot of people, they trust AI. So like, whether it's writing an essay or a book report, or whether it's, writing code or coming up with a recipe for something. I mean, it can tell you very confidently, do this, this, and this, but that doesn't mean it's the right answer. It just means that it thinks those are the next words that should be coming after the ones that you fed it. That's kind of what the large language models are doing. They're looking at the words. They're not necessarily seeing huge, insightful connections and meaning between things.
Yeah. Oh, and Eileen, coming from Twitch, you can ask what we think about Russia. It depends on what you ask.
Let's see. Извините, я не говорю по-русски. I'm sorry, I don't speak Russian.
Glenn may be able to answer it. and going back to musical tools that I feel on the AI side are useful tools. They're not taking over things in some cases. One of our family members from the Zoom, Darian's writing desk, Synthesizer V, I've mentioned it in the past. I really wanted to get a review in about it, because I feel like this is one of the pieces of software that a lot of musicians out there who might not necessarily have access to the vocalists that they're looking for, or they're trying to conceptualize the vocals that they want. Synthesizer V is one of the most powerful when it comes to generating a voice that you're looking for and being able to control it just like you would with a musical instrument, being able to articulate through it and give it commands. And I really feel people should be more familiar with this. Streamworks Audio, surprisingly, there's not a lot of reviews. When you go hunting on YouTube for this, Synthesizer, I think, screws up the searching, because I get a lot of non-relevant, but Streamworks Audio, like a champ, somebody covered it, and he's gonna show what this tool is, how it works, and how it can benefit those who don't necessarily have the singer that they are looking for when they're trying to come up with some vocal melody.
And that is the trick. I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of getting that hook, and if you can find that, then you're all set.
Yep. And then on the flip side of it, Arcade is going to show us a different approach where you don't have to be a great singer to kind of lay out your melody and get something that you can at least conceptualize the actual song. And in this case, he's going to show an approach that you can utilize Suno. And it's good to see that it's not all like hate towards Suno, which is where a lot of the musicians who've been arguing like AI is taking over. Suno and Udio have been the big ones that like the musicians are like, no, this is gonna take our jobs. And he he's gonna show a way you can use it to shape your vocals if you sing like I do, and you can't necessarily sing the part, but you can at least get the idea down.
And that is important for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good compliment to Synthesizer V. I wanted to show two different approaches here, whether you want to actually sing the part and then massage it, or whether you actually want to control the virtual singer like you would an actual instrument.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of technology, hardware here. Last year, you started to see these AI glasses popping up, and there's some interesting options out there. And now in 2026, they're starting to get some competition in there in Tech Trends, another freshie for us that surprised we weren't here before. It's going to show 10 of the best ones that are out there. I think this is going to be a future technology that a lot of people are going to start picking up on these, depending where the price point hits.
Yeah. And that's the thing is glasses are something, or even sunglasses, it's something that people are just used to having. It's not an additional accessory you have to get used to using. It's just something you put on, like you put on your glasses, and go from there.
Yeah, and Lou's in the chat. See, Lou's one of the ones who got the Ray-Bans last year, and they're not totally AI. The ones that they were first putting out there, they're more basically cameras and a way for people to actually like have a camera that looks from your own eyes and perspective. These are going to go to another level where you're actually going to get information in those screens along with the camera. So I'm really interested to see where these are going to fall in the price point, because those Ray-Bans aren't cheap, 400-ish or more.
Wouldn't shock me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to finish things off, we've talked in the past about like the problem with doing AI development, especially if you're a programmer, or in the case of Better Stack, where they do a lot of data analysis and analytics and get a lot of information and turn it into useful information that you can provide your business to work with. There are some solutions to bring that cloud processing and what you have to do there into your local environment. And that can save a ton of money, and in some cases, speed up development. Because if you have to rely on the cloud and being connected all the time to do your development, it can get in the way of some of the things that you want to do sandboxed and in a local fashion. So that one's going to be coming from Better Stack.
And that's where the offloading again comes down to local hardware, having the hardware locally capable of handling AI stuff.
Yeah, well, this one's an interesting solution. I could see adding this into the room in 2026. So I'm glad that I found this, because it is something that we've talked about, like the need for. It's nice that you got the cloud out there, and if you don't have the hardware, it's nice that you can do it in the cloud. But if got 17 machines in this house. Be awesome if I could utilize some of them to make a little farm here, a little AI farm.
Get your own little Beowulf cluster going over there.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not going to pay a lot for that muffler.
Definitely not. Make it out of Raspberry Pis.
Yeah, we were Wild Band mentions version 6 will be a different platform than 5. I was looking actually at the details there, doing the research here, and you know, if we thought jumping from 3 to 4 was a big jump and a big deal, wait till you see going from 5 to 6. Some of these changes in large language models and things like that, you're going to start to see some of that new approach in these new versions coming this year.
Nice.
But let's start with the that LANDR acquisition. Them getting Reason, I think, is a interesting, possibly big deal, because what LANDR typically offered and what they're doing with AI was more on the mastering side, post song production, you know. So it wasn't about like making the song, it was about mixing it and cleaning it up and mastering it, getting it ready for the different platforms. And now that they've gone and acquired Reason's technology, that's kind of the missing link that they needed to start to open up their services and what they could possibly offer in the future. And I do see a potential BandLab competitor here.
Now, was Reason Propellerhead originally, or is that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And this one's coming from at Chris Holyman Effects, Freshy channel, and another one that's music related. I'm looking at his videos here. It looks like he's covering hardware, and to have a channel now that is using Reason and gives me a reason to reconsider looking at Reason again, because I used to love it. It was a useful DAW in the software that I had.
Absolutely.
So at Chris Holyman Effects over on YouTube, he's going to show us the details behind this acquisition and what they might be looking for getting this product. Let's switch over to our brand and tell us, Chris, how it is.
Ayo Shalom, all praises to the Most High, Yehovah, and the Son Yahushua. This is Chris Holyman FX. So as you can see, they saying, I seen a lot of articles about this. They saying LANDR acquires Reason Studio. I mean, they bought Reason Studio. So Reason becomes part of its growing AI ecosystem. Let's read some of this. It say LANDR, the AI mastering service, acquires DAW developer Reason Studio to redefine the future of music creation. The new year is only 6 days old, and there's already a change of the ownership in the music tech industry. It's a bombshell. LANDR, an AI mastering service and a plugin developer, has acquired the Swedish DAW developer Reason Studio after the recent acquisition of Synchro Arts. So for those who don't know who Synchro Arts is, right? They actually made the dope software, the ARA software, called Vocal Line, right? That I had in studio. I got in Studio One. Pretty dope, right? And they make a lot of plugins and they, AI, all type of AI stuff, whatever, right? It's a Reason Studio has a new owner, and for the first time, it's not Swedish. LANDR is a Canadian music tech company with a strong focus on AI. They describe it as a major step towards building the next generation of creative tools. They say the union brings together two trailblazers in music technology with one shared mission to give creators everywhere more power, freedom, and inspiration to create. LANDR and Reason Studio will combine their strengths to accelerate an evolution of Reason, expanding its reach and depending its impact across every major DAW environment. It says, CEO LANDR says, our vision is to make, this is the key part, our vision is to make Reason and the Reason Rack indispensable tools for every producer. So now, that means for everybody who think that it's only going to be the Reason Rack, they telling you that it would be Reason, they focusing on Reason the DAW and Reason the Rack. I like both. I use the DAW mainly overall, but I love to use the Rack when I'm doing work with other people or I'm going to another person's A, B, C, and D, and if I'm able to pull out the Rack. It say the Reason Rack, indispensable tools for every producer, regardless of what DAW they use. Wherever music is made, Reason will be there. With its amazing instruments, effects, and iconic analog workflow enhanced by LANDR's value-rich creative tools. Right? So they already kind of got like the logo LANDR, Reason Studio might be like that. LANDR today promised that Reason Studio will continue to operate as its own brand, maintaining its products, community, and creative DNA. So everybody who talking about, this shit is over with, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's not unless they some liars. Get what I'm saying? So it's Reason remains the DAW producers know and love, now supported by the broader LANDR ecosystem to unlock new possibilities for creators everywhere. A growing Reason work software. Additionally, they plan to work with Synchro Arts to gradually deliver new value. I won't be surprised they put the vocal line inside Reason built in. That'd be so dope, bro. Just put it in there. That'd be crazy dope. Just naturally, automatically, man. So to gradually deliver new value to Reason's user through deeper integration, enhanced collaboration tools, right? The statements are to be believed. This purchase is not intended to close it down, but rather to continue it as a much higher intensity. Because I'm like, why the fuck would this company will buy, why LANDR would buy Reason Studio just to shut it down when they don't even have a damn DAW? You get what I'm saying? So I know that I really think this is going to work out good. I think Reason about to be on some whole nother shit, bro. I'm telling you, I really believe that. Again, they say this isn't about changing Reason. It's about giving it room to grow. We're preserving each brand's identity and core market while unlocking new possibility for creative everywhere. So basically they're trying to get another brand, bring those customers to LANDR, have all of them together, then add some extra sauce on Reason. I'm down for that, bro. I'm down for that. I'm telling you, I'm down for that. They really about to put I really think they about to put some shit inside Reason, bro. So a lot of things that people been asking for, they about to. I really think that. Now, as far as the AI stuff, they probably get in their bag with a lot of AI stuff. There's a lot of AI stuff I agree with, but there's some stuff, I don't know that when they start creating everything for you completely where you don't do shit, I don't agree with that. To each his own. That's not all. They are establishing an artist council comprising well-known producers and long-time Reason users. They will be instrumental in shaping the future of the platform so that it works for both new and existing user alike. Let's read that again. They said that's not all. They are establishing an artist council comprising well-known producers and long-time Reason users. This council will ensure that Reason's roadmap remains deeply connected to the real-world needs and ambitions of today's creators, advising on product innovation, creative tools, and workflows. To achieve these tasks, they provide Reason with additional resources and align the team across the two company headquarters, Montreal and Stockholm, each with their own focus on their core strengths. The official press release also states that the acquisition of Reason Studios reflects a growing shift towards unified creative platforms for creators. This means wider access to high quality instruments, effects, and intelligence driven tools all in one place. So they're going to add some crazy extra sauce to it, bro. First impression, the influence of AI companies in the music tech industry is steadily growing. In recent years, it become clear that Reason Studio is no longer a top tier DAW. This was mainly because the developers shifted their focus towards the rack plugin, allowing Reason instruments and effects to be used in any DAW. The DAW itself took a back seat, which was unfortunate. The damn DAW didn't take no back seat. That's bullshit. It didn't take no back seat. Now, they didn't add a lot of the things that people requested, but the DAW did not take a back seat. They revamped the whole DAW to be HIDPI compatible, which that takes a lot of time. They added VST3. They added more. I'm not going to say no instruments. They changed the whole workflow of the DAW around. You know, changed certain things around where they added the edit bar. They did something with the what they call it, the daggone the core features where it can read chorus better. I can't remember everything off bat, but they did some things with the DAW. And the point is that they might didn't do what a lot of us wanted, but they did. And just to do it, just to add those certain things to the DAW, that still costs and it's still time consuming, because they just could have just did everything straight for the rack and nothing for the DAW at all. So when they say that it was just only focused on the rack plugin, that's bullshit. It wasn't. They did things for the DAW. It just they ain't do it enough for us the workflow stuff, but they did a lot of other features, man. I just can't pull them up. I don't know exactly. I don't remember all of them right now, but a lot of y'all already know what they did with the DAW. So we got to keep that funky right quick. It said, as noted to the press release, LANDR will also pursue this course of action. Our vision is to make Reason and Reason Rack indispensable tools for every producer, regardless of what DAW they use. So they were saying all that. So yeah, man. What was it? All you oversee the LANDR Reason revisit the topic, might be better informed about what they have done by then. Okay, January 2027. Okay, so now, as we see, this is an article. This is all over the place on all different websites, right? Tell me what y'all think. I think it's gonna make Reason dope. I think it's gonna take it to another level. That everybody been, saying what they want and this and that. I think LANDR about to take it to another level, bro. I really do. I really agree with that. They not about to fuck this dog. They said it clear right here. They gotta own up to that, right? Besides, Reason been around for years, and guess what? It's the only DAW that look the way it's look and design the way it's designed. That's very special, right? And very inspirational. So all they got to do is just add a whole bunch of new features. And guess what? Just to let y'all know, I am one of the beta feature testers. You got the beta testers and you got the beta feature testers. And they already got a whole bunch of dope features that they added, sent to the DAW, right? Yeah. They already added a bunch of dope features already. They're going to add to the DAW. Some workflows joints, man. We aren't supposed to tell nobody right now. So I don't know if they're really watching. I ain't going to do that. But the point is, I think they about to do, those features that they're going to add for right now, I think they're going to add that with LANDR. They're about to bring a new version out of Reason, and it's going to be about LANDR, and they're going to add a whole bunch of other dope shit to it. That's what I really think, yo. That's what's coming. So those, unless they're going to give us those features that we tested right now, and then later on, they're going to do all the LANDR stuff. So who knows? We'll see. Tell me what y'all think, man. Y'all be good. Shalom.
Oh, Chris gets to beta test the features. Lucky. No wonder he's got some good Reason information there. He's behind the scenes.
Yeah. Got to be careful. You don't divulge too much on that. There are certain things you got to keep under the hood, but that's fine.
Well, and like he said, this is going to take a little while to see where the benefits are going to be. So 2027 actually does make sense, considering, they got it at the beginning of the year. It's going to take them about a year to figure out how they're going to incorporate it into their other technologies. But there's no doubt that AI, any modern DAW, you're starting to see AI becoming the big upgrade features in the new DAWs that are coming out. Every DAW is incorporating AI in one way or another.
Yeah, and it's probably not even just every DAW, it's probably almost every software, essentially, everything is just finding, a way to use AI to kinda smooth the experience a little bit. Let's, call it like that because, everything was you could already make programs do the things you want them to do. The AI is just trying to kinda make it easier for you to get the software to do what you want it to do.
Yeah, and it's the mastering AI stuff that whether you're getting it in a plugin or it's something that's baked into the DAW, this is an interesting merger here because you've got a company whose focus was on mastering services and technology,
Mhm.
now getting a DAW to maybe bridge the gaps between them. But still, I'm glad that they are also seeing that the appeal of the rack. And I don't necessarily want to switch my DAW. I do want to play with the technology, and I'm glad that some of these companies are smart enough to offer both sides there. Not everybody is going to drop their DAW to go to a different one. That's a big commitment change.
Yeah, for sure. And
As
as you said, the
as a
rack you're playing
plugin,
with. Mhm.
yeah, as a plugin, it's not as big of a shift.
Right. And the back of the rack, I mean, that was one of the things that what was it? Rewire was one of the other ones where you could
Yeah.
see and like plug this into here and this into there, and like that was really intuitive and to me a good bridge from the analog to the digital at the time.
At that time, that's how a lot of the engineers who were used to patch bays and all of that, that's why they loved it back then because of that. And what Chris mentions on the workflow,
Mhm.
again, at that time, it was a unique workflow that felt like you would in the physical world, and it really worked good. But going into the 2010s and up till now, what some of the other DAWs did was bring in better workflows, and then VST3 finally was working properly, and that kind of killed Rewire at that time because you'd eat up a lot more computer trying to do things through that approach than what VST3 brought to the table. So it's good to see him playing catch up now, and there is some usefulness in that technology for today.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do think that was like really cool news. I'm with him. I
Mhm.
think this should benefit Reason and hopefully give it a new life.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So now we're gonna shift to um, at AI Revolution X, another freshie for us, and with this one, we're going to look at uh, some programming technology. Rocket is a solution that promises code-free AI to help you to develop your applications, your web apps and solutions, and um, nice that there's possibly a solution for this, but I don't think the programmers are going away. I don't think the
Right.
coders are just going to disappear. They're just going to have different jobs than they used to have.
Mhm. Yeah, they could be almost more like, each programmer could be more like the department head of a department of AI coding bots. Like you have the AI agents doing the code, and you are double checking and compiling or putting together the pieces to make the program that you're looking to make because you're still the architect of what you're trying to put together, and you're using the AI to put together the nuts and bolts essentially more
Yeah.
easily or more quickly than you'd be able to do yourself.
Yeah. And somewhat on the plus side, I don't think it's going to kill like all the jobs or necessarily a lot of them. I think that the ones who do get the jobs there to do the checking and are going to get better salaries. They're actually going to become more valuable. And if you do want to be somebody with a career in this industry, you want to be that kind of employee because you might be getting a bigger paycheck in the future to make
Hmm.
sure that the money that they saved using AI they're still going to need to spend money to make sure that the human is keeping that AI in check.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the AIs breaking out. I'm worried about them, again, hallucinating and giving bad information that people then take as fact and act upon as if it were fact.
And there's our metalhead. Yes, support musicians.
Yeah.
Real musicians.
Always. And live musicians, playing live.
And as he said, is a tool, not an instrument. And that's what we're kind of talking about tonight. Like, it is a tool, it's not a takeover. And when it starts to feel like a takeover, hopefully it's not like Terminator style.
Yeah. When people talk about putting AI into physical robots, to me, that's more of a why thing. Like, it's like we probably can. And the question is, do we want to? Is it a good idea?
There's companies that are. I almost had a video from that because Dubai, they had a tech show over there in the last week, and they are putting AI into robots.
Yeah. Is it a good idea?
The study Jason's talking about here, very important one that they did last year on, what how is AI affecting brain development for people who are overutilizing it and relying on it too much. It's the same as like somebody depending on GPS all of a sudden can't find their way around their own town anymore because they've gotten so used to like taking instructions from something. And
to me, it's the example of the not knowing anyone's phone number. Like everyone has everyone in their phone. So, when I want to call, Bill, I just hit Bill. I don't have to, I don't have to remember the 10-digit number that was his number. So if you tried to think about, the top 10 phone numbers that you dial, would you be able to come up with them all if you had to? And the question was way back in the day when I was a kid, I could remember, 50 phone numbers, no problem.
We exercised that muscle when we were kids. I know 3 phone numbers now. The 3 most important phone numbers that I need. I can call home, I can call mom, and I can call my brother.
Yep, there it is. And that's the thing is like, anybody else, like you lose your phone, like then you really get that sense of, oh my God, if you all of a sudden can't contact 100 people that you're used to contacting all the time because you don't have any of their numbers and you have to wait for them to contact you. Like, that's where losing a phone can be a nightmare if you don't have everything stored on the cloud, but most people have it stored in the cloud.
Thankfully, we've come a long way from the early days of the smartphones where if you did have to switch phones and contacts gone, you got to program them back in. Now they're tied to your Google account, your Apple account. You switch phones, you log in, and boom, everything migrates. Thank God that like they nipped that in the bud because
well, again, we used to store them right here, and I could like walk up to any payphone and just out of my head dial one of the 50 numbers that I knew from the people that that I dealt with on a regular basis. But today, couldn't come up with more than 3 or 4, just like you.
Good luck trying to find a payphone today.
However, I can still remember my first phone number. Like, the phone number that I had growing up as a kid. Like that one sticks with me. Like I remember.
Me too. I remember my phone number from when I was 14.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, one of those things because it was something that we knew and had to exercise that, we had to recall and give out that information so many times over the years that it got that deeply ingrained.
Same reason I remember my first zip code that I actually had to like use in my address, phone numbers and zip codes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's check out this rocket solution and see if it's code-free worthy. I mean, it's a big promise, and we've heard this promise before. Maybe we're finally there.
One thing I have seen is looking at when they were coming out with the new iterations of the LLMs, they kept grading them on how they would score on basically a programming test. And seeing how that progression came along and how high they score now, I mean, it would not surprise me if they can write really good code at this point.
I think at this point they should have learned.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see if they have.
The race to build apps with AI just hit a whole new level. For years, every company promised no-code, low-code, AI-assisted development. But most of them stopped halfway. They gave you prototypes, wireframes, or broken demos that never left the browser. And then, in the middle of all the noise, a platform called Rocket quietly appeared and started doing something nobody else managed to pull off: launching finished products. And they actually wanted to sponsor this video, and I told them straight, I'll only talk about it if I can dig into it myself and say exactly what I think. They said go for it. So that's what this is. So Rocket is basically like an AI production studio that behaves as if an entire product team lives inside your browser. You describe what you want, literally in one sentence, and it turns that thought into a working web or mobile app, complete with backend, authentication, payments, analytics, and live deployment. It's what they call vibe solutioning, not vibe coding, not scaffolding, full stack execution in a single flow. Over the last few weeks, this AI tool has been blowing up across X and YouTube because of how real the results look. You're seeing people go from an idea to a downloadable mobile app in minutes. The example that's been circulating everywhere is an AI productivity app, something that normally takes multiple developers, designers, and at least a month of back-end setup. Rocket built the same thing during a recording session. The app had real user profiles through Supabase, premium tiers powered by Stripe, an AI assistant built on OpenAI and Claude, and working analytics. Essentially, you can just type AI productivity app with task tracking, chat-based assistance, and subscription upgrades. That's enough. The AI then architects the project: screens, flows, navigation, database schema, API connections, and you watch it assemble in real time. Each version stays stable because the system keeps track of hierarchy and intent, not just syntax. What makes it addictive is the feedback speed. You tweak something and the app updates in seconds. It remembers what you've built, so every new change feels cumulative instead of risky. That kind of creative momentum is what normally disappears in traditional dev cycles. And this isn't locked inside a walled garden. Every line of code it produces is yours. You can export it, push it to GitHub, self-host it, whatever you want. That single decision, code ownership, is why the developer community suddenly started paying attention. Most so-called AI builders keep you trapped behind subscriptions. Rocket gives you production-grade output you actually control. Also worth knowing, the free tier may use your data for training, paid plans let you opt out. What's making this trend lately is how it handles multiple integrations working together, automatically. That AI productivity app is the perfect proof. Supabase manages the users and stores their notes. OpenAI or Claude generates the smart summaries and daily plans. Stripe locks the premium logic. And Resend sends personalized emails like, here's what you achieved today. All that connected with natural language prompts. And the fact that it isn't a black box but actually conversational is critical. You can literally tell it, make the dashboard lighter or add dark mode, and the platform edits the live build instantly. Underneath that chat layer sits something called commands, structured shortcuts that perform precise actions inside your current project. Type add Stripe payments, and it wires a full payment flow. Type fix layout issues, and the broken grid repairs itself. More than 100 commands already exist, from database setup to UI cleanup. When you open Rocket's App Studio, you've got a chat window, a live preview, a visual editor, and the code panel side by side. You can interact on whichever layer you prefer. If you want to change a component manually, you can. Want to describe it in text? Works too. Everything syncs instantly. Rocket now also has Rocket Mobile, a companion app that extends the whole workflow beyond the browser. You can track builds, review apps, and stay connected to active projects directly from your phone. Even the Figma import behaves differently here. You drop a design link, and Rocket translates the hierarchy, not just the pixels, into responsive, working components. Buttons stay interactive, text scales properly, animations carry over, and the output actually feels handcrafted, not auto-generated. So, what does this look like in the AI productivity app example? You end up with an experience that feels native on both web and mobile. Tasks appear in a clean dashboard, the AI assistant sits at the bottom ready to summarize or plan, and premium users unlock advanced automation, like smart scheduling or multi-device sync. The backend lives in Supabase, and the AI layer can talk to any model you choose: OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, or even Perplexity for fact-checked summaries. It's flexible by design. Then there's deployment. The same project can go live on Netlify with one click. You get a public URL, real hosting, and if you want to test mobile behavior, Rocket builds a Flutter APK you can download immediately. You install it on your phone, and it behaves like a native app. That's the moment most people realize this isn't some demo engine, it's building production software. Earlier this month, they rolled out full support for Next.js and React with TypeScript, so you can export apps that plug straight into the same stack most startups already use. That's something none of the older, no-code builders like Bubble or Glide even attempt. They still lock you into their own systems. Rocket Team also upgraded the command system with smarter error detection and package validation. Now, if a dependency breaks or conflicts, Rocket catches it before the build even runs. It's a small thing, but it's the kind of stability that makes developers take it seriously. There's even a redesigned APK builder which queues and compiles mobile builds faster, giving you a ready-to-install app with zero manual setup. Over the past few months, developer-facing AI tools have moved at an insane pace. OpenAI launched new endpoints with cheaper context, Anthropic expanded Claude's API tier, Google rolled out Gemini 3's extended reasoning features, and Perplexity added new search-based APIs. Every one of those can connect directly into Rocket. You can literally spin up a custom workflow that mixes OpenAI's creative output with Perplexity's verified data, all inside one app build. That kind of multi-model orchestration used to require back-end engineers. Now it's conversational. Rocket's growth also rides on its community. Over 400,000 creators across 180 countries have already generated more than 500,000 apps. Most of them aren't developers. They're indie founders, designers, and small agencies testing ideas. The reason that number matters is simple. Each project refines Rocket's understanding of how humans actually request software. It's learning the language of creation itself, the small patterns behind how people describe intent. That's why the outputs keep getting cleaner and more aligned. And the results look professional out of the box. The app applies its own unified design system so your project doesn't feel like a collage of random UI kits. When you ask for modern minimal, it actually knows what that means visually. If you prefer full control, the visual editor lets you fine-tune details down to component level, padding, alignment, gradients, all without losing coherence. And you don't have to start from scratch either. They added an extensive template library that covers full mobile and web flows. Habit trackers, SaaS portals, landing pages, mobile app downloads. They quote up to an 80% token saving when you begin from one of these templates. So you get the speed of a one-prompt build, but with the depth of ready-made structure behind the scenes. But none of this matters if performance sucks, and that's where Rocket quietly crushed expectations. The generated React and Flutter code runs lean. Lighthouse scores stay high, and the builds deploy without the bloat you usually see from generators. That's what actually got developers to take it seriously. Development is finally starting to move at the speed of thought. You can see it yourself at rocket.new. Why does it feel like small creators suddenly have the same firepower as full companies? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe and hit like so you stay ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.
Oh, I like.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
likey.
And code ownership. I mean, that's huge right there. You know,
Yeah.
Huge.
And the fact that it's gotten developers on board, they're some of the hardest ones to convince, and in some cases, like those developers are a lot like the musicians who are worried that, like, oh, you're going to take my job. The smart developers, the ones who know just how tedious and some of the work necessary to do app development, aren't going to be scared of this. They're going to appreciate, like, now I got a nail gun. I don't have to use this hammer anymore.
Yeah. They're going to leverage it. Exactly. They're going to use it to, to do the parts of the job that it will be good at and that we don't necessarily need to have that much input into. We can describe what we want from that part and not have to sit there and write every single line of code. We can say, we want it to look like this, we want it to have these features, etc., and then have it spit it out. We can refine what it gives us, and then we go from there.
I'm really impressed at its flexibility, not just on the programming side, the ability to access different APIs, different AI engines. Now you've got your modular AI system, but it also focuses on design and aesthetics, something that, like, a lot of times, if I had had this in when I was a project manager and we were developing apps, uh, half the time, like, what they're asking for is like, oh, can you make a dark mode? And you have to go back in, rewire things in some cases to change that kind of setting. Having that built into the engine like this and focus on that, my big hope is that companies, of course, they're going to be interested in this approach. It does look like there's a lot of savings that can be had, development can be sped up. My hope is that those companies don't lose sight of the humans they still need. You're still going to need to have a database manager who understands the database. You're still going to need to have a plumber who can make sure that the API it's connecting to has a token key that it gets from here. Or, the humans will still have jobs with this solution, and their jobs are going to actually be more important.
Now, if you were to picture like a development meeting, for example, back from when you were doing the app development there, like let's say you had 10 people sitting around on a team and you're talking about the app. And in this case, with the AI there, that development meeting where you're saying, like, one person goes, hey, we need a dark mode, that's actually an instruction already to the AI. And it's already making that change. And you're actually looking at the change live, so like you're that same meeting having the same conversation, rather than it being a conversation about the stuff that we're going to start writing. It's actually showing you the product that you're designing, whether you're going to now rewrite all that code or whether you're just going to examine the code, double check it, make sure it's all solid, make sure it's portable, everything else you're trying to do.
Well, make sure that the transition doesn't break something, because when you add certain changes like that, you can break the system, and you have to be able to go in and make sure that the system's ready for those kinds of changes.
Yeah. And in this case, going to a dark mode, you're using less power. But let's say, if it was the reverse and something was dark mode and you were trying to make a light mode, all of a sudden you may be using too much battery or whatever, because you're now going to, a brighter setting than it was before. So now it's going to change the whole performance characteristics of the app or whatever it is. There's going to be changes that you might not anticipate that are worth investigating. And this is one of those places where you can, try different scenarios with code like this and see what it looks like and say, no, I don't like that at all. Maybe we should change it and do it this way, but you can test these ideas.
Well, and the other nice thing from what I've seen there is the template approach. A lot of companies really, they know what they're looking for, and they're basically looking for what they already see out there in other companies and solutions. And they want to start with that, like, template foundation, so that switching to dark mode, light mode, that's built into good app design nowadays.
Right. Exactly. And the other thing they were talking about with, how they have this library essentially of, 500,000, people that are inputting ideas, and the AI is learning from all these projects that we're putting in and how we're asking for software, like how humans describe what they're looking for out of the software. As it gets better at that, it's the same way that the more we do AI, we become like AI whisperers, where we can more accurately get the AI to do what we want to do. At the same rate, like on the flip side of that, the AI is getting better at understanding what we're asking for and giving us what we're actually looking for, even if we're not that good at describing it verbally, because we tell it, oh, we want this, but it's seen enough times where we've asked for that, and what we've actually looked for was this. So it knows how to adjust for that.
Yeah, I think the biggest benefit when it comes to, like, project development like this is it's not just learning in a small bubble, one company working on a project.
Right.
It's learning from all the different projects that are being developed under the technology, which means overall better project management, better increased development. Again, the things that can cut costs. And that's when it comes down to the companies, that's what they want.
Well, and in programming, I mean, how much is, packages, being reused, code packages, for example, you have a module that you write and you use it for this, but it can be used for many other things as well. And as it writes modules that work, it can use them in other contexts, and it can have those all in a library that then go to, I mean, which is how code libraries work, of course.
In the programming world, when object-oriented programming came into the picture, that's where classes started to come in, and people could write functions and classes that could take care of big things and then be reused in other projects and programs.
And the more projects and programs that are written using these things, the bigger that library gets, and the more we can now utilize those as Lego building blocks and say, okay, I want to use this chunk and this chunk and this chunk. And now all of a sudden you made a new program just reusing chunks that you'd used in the past.
Yeah. The web as we know it wouldn't be the way it is if it wasn't for that direction that we went in there. Like HTML5 and JavaScript and all the functionality started with core classes that had to be made. The HTML4 days sucked, and that's kind of why Flash and things like that went by the wayside, because they needed to use standard languages and classes like JavaScript and open up the ability to do it directly in the browser rather than having to go into a proprietary Flash engine that, much as I loved it, I was a Flash programmer, worked at Macromedia as a Flash developer. It had to disappear. We had to get to here in order to get to where we're going next.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is it has been a progression, and the speed of the progression is kind of ridiculous. And like they were saying, the speed just over the last, again, the last year, the last 5 years, when you look at that and you magnify and you look forward, it's not even, the 5 years and 1 year that we're looking at. We're looking at like the next 2 months and the next 3 days after that. And that's when we're at that, those next levels of jumping ahead,
Yeah, the times, they are changing.
And fast, very, very fast.
And definitely at AI Revolution X, if you want to keep up with this stuff, the Ultimate AI Media channel, they're not bullshitting there, covering cutting edge technology that's rolling out as we speak.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Great review there. Definitely going to be checking out that software. I wish I had had solutions like that when I was a software developer.
Oh, yeah.
If I had to develop software now, that would be the direction I'd go.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Future Sketch Labs. This one is going to talk about a new AI engine approach that I think is gonna make some changes in how AI thinks in the future. The large language models, we've gotten comfortable with that, and it's been the norm now for quite some time. But they're working on some new approaches that will take us from like an AI that needs to be programmed in a certain way and does hallucinate to an AI that actually thinks more like a human thinks.
Yeah.
Dynamically.
Being able to criticize or, analyze the thoughts as you're having them as well. And is this a good idea? Is this a good idea? Things like that, or self-reflection, things like that. I don't know if that's what's coming in this model, but, it is the kind of things I would expect.
Yeah, I think some of that might be an important feature in order for it to be able to think more like a human.
Yeah.
Yep. So this one's coming from at Future Sketch Lab. Another one of those channels where they utilize drawings and images in a very creative way to explain, in some cases, complex topics. And this is kind of a brain buster when you think about it, but it's nice and streamlined here.
Very cool.
There's a test that makes every AI look stupid. ChatGPT gets 0%. Claude gets 0%. Even Google's best AI gets 8%. But here's what nobody's telling you. A new type of AI just appeared that doesn't predict words anymore. It actually thinks. And the scary part? It's already better than most humans at things we thought were impossible. For the past few years, we've been living in the era of LLMs, large language models. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, these things have been everywhere. They're basically super smart autocomplete on steroids. You type something and they predict what should come next based on patterns they've seen in mountains of training data. And honestly, they're pretty incredible. But these models have a dirty little secret. They don't actually think. They pattern match. They're like that student who memorized the textbook but can't solve a single problem they haven't seen before. And while we've been distracted, researchers have been quietly working on something that could change everything. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're reading a novel. On page 50, there was a box. On page 100, a cat sits on the box. On page 150, the box breaks. Now, if I ask you, what happened to the box, you can track that story. You understand state changes over time. Traditional LLMs, they struggle with this badly. See, the way current AI works is through something called an attention mechanism. When you're reading a sentence, you need to know which words are important and how they relate. The cat sat on the box means something totally different from the box was on the cat, right? But the current gold standard method, something called rotary position encoding, treats word positions like fixed distances. It's like saying words that are 4 positions apart always get the same treatment, regardless of what those words actually are. It's aware of position, but it's not aware of content. This creates real problems. According to MIT research, LLMs can't follow variables changing in code. They mess up conditional instructions. They're flying blind when things get complex. Enter the new kids on the block, large reasoning models, or LRMs. And trust me, these things are different. Instead of just spitting out an answer instantly, these models actually take time to think. I'm not being poetic here. They literally use what's called test time compute. They spend more processing power during the actual problem-solving phase, not just during training. Think of it this way. Traditional LLMs are like speed chess players. They've seen millions of games, they recognize patterns, and they move fast. But LRMs are like chess grandmasters who actually calculate 20 moves ahead, consider different strategies, and adjust their thinking as they go. The secret sauce is something called chain of thought reasoning. These models generate long streams of internal logic, sometimes thousands of words, before giving you an answer. They can backtrack when they realize they made a mistake. They can try multiple approaches and vote on the best one. They can literally catch themselves in loops and break out. OpenAI's So3 model can now score at the top of elite science benchmarks. Google's Gemini 2.5 can process 1 million tokens at once. That's like reading several novels simultaneously and keeping track of every single plot thread. And get this, a Chinese open source model called DeepSeek R1 scored 99.2% on elite math tests that would stump most humans. But there's more. MIT researchers just developed something called path attention that makes positional information adaptive. Instead of treating word positions as fixed distances, it treats the path between words like a journey, where each step influences the next. It's like the difference between measuring distance on a map versus actually walking the route and experiencing the terrain. We're moving from AI that mimics intelligence to AI that might actually possess it.
Let's talk about the money, because let's be honest, that's what really drives change. These new AI reasoning models, they are expensive. And I don't mean a little expensive. We're talking anywhere from a few cents to several dollars per single task. Get this, when they tested one of OpenAI's top models on a benchmark for general intelligence, it cost about $200 per task. That's not a typo, $200 to get one answer. But here's why people are even considering it. The accuracy goes through the roof. It's like this. You can hire someone for $10 who gets it wrong half the time, or you can pay $50 for someone who nails it 95% of the time. When the stakes are high, like a medical diagnosis or a complex legal case, that accuracy is everything. And things are getting more efficient fast. Some models are hitting a sweet spot, giving you decent accuracy for just a few cents. Plus, big companies could save tens of billions a year just by switching to smarter open source models, instead of always using the priciest option. Okay, so before you run off thinking we've cracked the code on AI, let me hit you with a reality check. First, these models still fail, and they fail hard. On a new benchmark that tests for genuine reasoning ability, the best models are scoring around 8% accuracy. 8%. Humans get it right almost every time. As one researcher put it, we still need new ideas for AGI. Second, they are slow. So slow that some tasks just time out. You can't just plug one of these into your app and call it a day. You have to redesign the entire product around its pace. It's gotten so confusing for users that OpenAI is actually planning to merge these specialized systems back into their main models. And third, we've hit a wall. For years, the strategy was simple. Just make the AI bigger. More data, more power. But at the big NeurIPS conference, the experts are all saying the same thing. That's not working anymore. The hype is cooling down. We need a fundamentally new approach. So where does that leave us? This is where it gets exciting. The most promising work is happening where two fields are colliding: deep learning and program synthesis. Think of it like this. Deep learning is the gut instinct, the pattern recognition. Program synthesis is the cold, hard logic. You combine the two, you might actually get something that thinks. We're also seeing some truly wild ideas, like hybrid quantum classical models. Researchers just built an AI that uses actual quantum circuits, swapping out 10% of its brain for 10 quantum bits with zero loss in quality. IBM is already seeing a 34% jump in accuracy on some tasks with their quantum processors. And then there's the hardware race. China built a server the size of a mini fridge that uses 90% less power while processing 500,000 tokens a second. New chips are coming out that are 1.5 times faster than the best on the market, using a quarter of the power. But here's what's really happening underneath all this. We are moving from an era of AI that predicts to an era of AI that understands. Your typical AI today, it's just predicting the next word in a sentence. These new systems, they're trying to predict the next concept, the next logical step. That is a completely different game. So, are these new AIs better than what we have now? Yes and no. For the really tough stuff, math, science, deep analysis, they are already in a different league. But for quick, cheap, everyday questions, the old models are still king. We're not replacing one with the other. We're adding a powerful, specialized new tool to the toolbox. The real question isn't which AI is better. It's what becomes possible now that we have both. And I think we are just about to find out.
Oh man, that is cool the way he explained it there. I love the sketch approach, the chess analogy,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
clicked in right away. What we're seeing here is like you can't just think with your brain and you can't just think with your heart. It actually does take both and conscious, a subconscious, um, that modular AI that you're talking about. This is where it's going to come from.
It reminds me of the split with the left brain and the right brain and having like the different,
Uh-huh.
functionality, the different specialties that are, housed in each half, but you're a whole person using both. So like it's when you use both that you get that whole, the benefit of both.
Well, there's times where you really gotta like depend on things that you have learned and know, and there's times where you're in the middle of learning, you're in the middle of reacting, and it's interesting that with the way that they're testing this and seeing its strengths and its weaknesses, and the one thing that we're hearing more than ever is the power demands.
Right.
As you
Scale up.
utilize this, it's no wonder they're like talking about bringing back nuclear reactors and anything to like, so check off. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. Like that.
Yep.
That's what I think some of these developers are stuck with. That wall that they're talking about there isn't so much that they don't have the code, it's that they don't have enough power yet.
It's kind of that they're projecting forward. Like I was saying, even if you project forward 5 years, if they look at the last 5 years and they look at what their power consumption has come to at this point, and then they look forward, they're like, we can't get it. It's like that's, we're getting to a point where we're going to hit that wall where we can't get the power. So it's a different type of scaling. excuse me, that we need at that point. And that's where different types of different types of chips. There are, photonic chips. There's all kinds of things that they're also reduced the barriers down now. They've been able to etch in smaller levels. We've seen Anastasia in tech has talked about different chip designs that have come around that have.
And she's talked about quantum computing, the way
Yep.
they mentioned there, and again, very interesting that when they incorporate that into the approach, the difference in results is gonna be drastic.
Yeah, and by having that, a couple of quantum bits inside of a regular machine and knowing which problems to send each place to have the right part of the processor, or the right part of the problem be handled in the right part of the processor is the important part.
Yeah, yeah. This is why we're an IT show, because that's some IT talk.
Oh yeah, good stuff. And again,
Yeah.
it's all changing so fast that it is hard to keep up with, but it's something that is worth keeping up with because it changes so fast and it can make such a difference. I mean, whether it's a difference in, like we were saying, it can be a difference in, people losing jobs in certain fields, and it can also be a difference in opening up entirely new fields of research. So that's where we need to look at the positives as much as possible and try to, steer towards the things that will open up the most opportunities for the most people using these software approaches.
Yeah, that AI glass is half full, and
Yes.
keeping up isn't as hard for me when we have channels like this.
Yes.
Some of them really help me to keep up quick. At Future Sketch Lab, freshy for us. We will be back for more sketches.
Yeah, and again, one small note about the whole, the fact that the AIs can do a lot of this programming for us. Like in the past, if you wanted to do stuff in COBOL, you needed to be a COBOL programmer, and it would take a long time to get you there. But in this case, you could say
There's less and less of them
Yep.
available nowadays.
Exactly, but we are getting to the point where we could, instruct some of these models to actually become COBOL specialists and learn to, fill that gap. And, that would be something where we're bringing back lost information or lost art or
And
skills.
more importantly, you can get those COBOL experts at a speed that you're going to need them, because you can't wait a decade for another generation to grow and pick it up. That was a big problem with our old programming languages, and like why they would get deprecated, and today's kids weren't learning things like Pascal and COBOL anymore, and big networks were still depending on it because that's what was running their code, but they couldn't find programmers anymore. So, some of this is necessary.
I mean, I remember programming in Pilot and Logo back in, kindergarten. I mean, first grade. We were working on some of that stuff way back when, and I was programming in BASIC on my first computer way back when.
That Commodore 64 and BASIC was my jam.
Yeah. I mean, you can do stuff in BASIC for sure.
Yeah. So, great channel for explaining the complicated stuff in a nice approach. Love the analogies. Totally understood, like what they're doing here.
Absolutely. Love it.
And now to look at AI as a tool perspective, especially for musicians, and with the programming talk that we've been having here, having a music tool to do something like provide a voice for you that you can actually program is part of the reason why I wanted to include this piece of software in here. Darian's writing desk has tested this thing like all over the place with amazing results. And if there's any piece of software out there that's worth buying nowadays, if you're a musician who wants to flesh out your vocals, you don't necessarily use it to make the final track, but in the case of like Darian, he uses it to get the idea and then go to the singers that he has and say, like, this is what we're looking for.
And even if you like you were saying, even if you're someone who doesn't have or doesn't consider yourself to have the best singing voice, you could use this to generate a track to follow. This would be a singing track where, it's singing for you, but now it generated something with a solid melody line that you can now follow. And if you can put that into your ears and be able to follow that, that's a thing where a lot of people, even if they can't come up with the melody line themselves, they would still be able to sing along with someone who's singing it. And that can help you train yourself to do that part.
And even cooler, you can instruct it like, I need more grit here. Or I need more punch here. It has the ability to formulate and articulate what you're looking for in those words. Not only can you put those words where you want them to hit, you can describe how you want the singer to approach. And sometimes the human singer doesn't always take the instructions as easily and conveniently. This lets you get around that in some cases.
Another thing I'd be curious about is accents, where there's all kinds of accents. You can get a Midwestern person singing, you can get a New Yorker singing, you can get a California person singing. You're going to get a whole different kind of a song. A lot of times accents do disappear in songs. I get that too.
Yeah.
Where or somebody's singing, somebody's British and they're singing, and you don't get as strong of a British accent, but some of the words are definitely pronounced in such a way that it's somebody who's British when they're singing. That kind of thing.
Yeah, and if the AIs are going to go up in front of American Idol, then we'll need a Simon Cowell accent to review it.
Absolutely. Gotta have it.
This one's going to be coming from @Streamworks Audio, another awesome information channel when it comes to reviews, plugins, everything. And of all the channels that when I was hunting for a review on this cool piece of software, this was one of two, the only two I found, and this one was the winner.
Nice.
Absolutely the winner.
Very cool.
Yeah, and what he's going to show us is Synthesizer V, Studio Pro 2. They are on 3 is in beta right now, and Darian's been checking out some of the cool new stuff that's coming, but 2 is very well developed, solid. Not only do you get great voices and functionality out of the box, you can get even more voices and expand on it. They built a nice system here to develop your virtual voicing technology.
Nice.
And to me, it's not just AI that appeals to me here. It's the MIDI implementation as well. It understands the things that I wanted to understand, how to direct a singer and dealing with MIDI in a way that I can't do on a synthesizer patch. I need an actual vocal to control that melody.
Yeah. And as you said, having those different types of cues that you can give to change the way that the vocalist is approaching the song. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's a must-have for me.
Yes.
Today, we're diving into Synthesizer V Studio Pro 2, a cutting-edge vocal synthesis platform that lets you create incredibly realistic vocals using AI-powered voice banks. Whether you're into J-pop, EDM, cinematic scoring, or anything in between, Synth V gives you the power to design expressive, natural-sounding vocals without ever stepping into a vocal booth. Let's take a quick tour of the software and break down the core features that make this one of the most powerful tools available to producers, composers, and vocal arrangers. When you first open Synthesizer V Studio Pro 2, you'll see a clean, track-based layout that feels familiar if you used a DAW before. The main area is your arrangement workspace, where you can add and edit voice tracks horizontally along the timeline. Each track holds a different vocal performance, and you'll build melodies by drawing in notes on the piano roll. Below the piano roll is the parameter panel, where you can add expressive performance control like pitch curves, loudness, vibrato, and more. The interface is clean, intuitive, and incredibly fast once you get the hang of it. To create a vocal line, just draw in a note and type the lyric directly into it. Synth V will instantly generate a vocal performance using your selected voice bank.
This is awesome.
You can enter full words, syllables, or even phonetic spellings for more precision. Lyric editing is fast and flexible, which makes it easy to try different phrases and rhythms.
When the night comes.
And playback is in real time, so you don't have to render just to hear your changes. The real magic happens with the voice banks. The AI banks are trained on real human performances, giving you surprisingly expressive natural vocals right out of the box. You can find voice banks in multiple languages, including English, Japanese, Mandarin, and even Cantonese. And switching voices is easy. Just select a different one on the track and keep going.
When the night comes.
When the night comes.
Once your lyrics and notes are in place, it's time to shape the performance. The parameters panel lets you control pitch, loudness, tension, breathness, gender, and other aspects of vocal delivery.
When the night comes. 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 When the night comes.
Another standout feature is AI retakes. This lets the AI reinterpret the same melody and lyric with subtle variations in timing, pitch, and tone. You can generate multiple versions and pick the one that feels most natural.
When the night comes. When the night comes. When the night comes. When the night comes. When the night comes.
And if you want to dive deeper, we've covered it fully in our complete tutorial at streamworksaudio.com. You can also build your own custom dictionary, perfect for special names, foreign words, or sci-fi terms that don't exist in standard dictionaries. This keeps your pronunciation clean, consistent, and tailored to your song. Once you're happy with your track, you can render it out to audio. In standalone mode, just open the render panel, choose the file name, set the bit depth, the sample rate, and click bounce. You can render a single mix file or export each track separately. Synth V also works beautifully as a VST or AU plugin inside your DAW. We show you how to get everything set up in Cubase Pro 14 in the full course, but the process is similar in most DAWs. So that's a full interview of Synthesizer V Studio Pro 2. It's powerful, flexible, and makes it incredibly easy to produce vocal tracks that sound amazing right out of the gate. Whether you're a producer, songwriter, or a composer, Synth V gives you pro-level results. And if you want to master it from top to bottom, be sure to check out our in-depth tutorial at streamworksaudio.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh man, I can't believe how quickly he explained and showed that off, because I've gone through hours of looking at it and watching Darian use it, and totally amazed. And I'm like, how do we tell people about this awesome, useful tool? And it is a tool. He did that in 5 minutes, man.
When the night comes. It's nice.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you could get those variations, like just have it do variations, because like having it do the retakes and reinterpret it, because that way you can have it, try it a few different times and see which one sounds the most like what you're going for.
Yeah. And again, for those who are trying to conceptualize their song, being able to feel it out, experiment a little bit, it's a lot more productive than kind of being forced into like something. Well, this is the singer that I have, and this is the sound that I have. And if the song that you're writing really wants something else, it's nice to at least be able to experiment with it and not get shoved into a corner.
Yeah. And I've seen a number of times where, for example, with Grateful Dead songs, even like just performing them with a number of different people, if someone's not as familiar and they're just, they're looking at the lyrics and the song is coming around and they're going to try to fit it in there. Some of them, like the timing of how the lyric fits into the line, like, into the melody line is different. Like, you're starting starting a line on the 3 coming in, before the 1, there's times where you're doing that, where you're going to do an uptake, you're going to grab something there and then land on, the 3rd word, for example. So like getting those kinds of timing issues worked out is something where you can have, figure out exactly how to put it into the AI to get it to say, okay, I want to come in on the 3 and then have it start, this word on 1 and go from there.
And again, anybody who's comfortable with doing that, say in a MIDI grid or, dealing with the DAW and having to put things exactly at the time where you need to, and have it be flexible enough to be adjustable. So you're not moving waves around in that case. You're literally moving a word and putting it to right where you want it to hit, and then adjusting like pitch and dynamics. Super powerful software.
And sometimes a word will be like a grace note. You just want like a quick little bada. You just want to start with this word and like get right into that next one instead of having the AI go the like sometimes it'll try to space it out too much. So that's where you can get much more natural when you allow it to do those things.
Yep. That was an awesome demonstration. I can't believe like 5 minutes to like sell me on something. I mean, Darian's did a good job of selling me on it, but this was enough. Like it does what I want out of a piece of software like that, especially being a VST as well. And you're not locked into like having to use special DAW in order to do it. Perfectly built.
And very intuitive look, as you said. I mean, the way he was able to walk us through it, like the way, when it first comes up, it just looks like home already. It's very, very easy in those terms.
Yeah, that was an awesome demonstration there at Streamworks Audio on YouTube, and the website worth going to streamworksaudio.com. You'll get really cool and tutorials, information, in some cases, like some plugins and things that make it worth visiting.
Nice.
Yeah. And now we're going to see a counter approach to possibly getting vocals that you're looking for. And what's cool with this one is you can sing the part, even if you can't sing, if you can at least get your timing and set up the vocal structure that you're looking for, it is possible to massage that voice into the voice that you're looking for. And at Arcade FL, he's a Fruity Loops guy, and I can tell from these other videos, and that's a DAW that I really want to get more comfortable with, and this is a channel that'll help you to do that. What he's going to show us here is a different approach where you take your basic vocal that you set up, and he's going to use Suno to do it. So, one of the ones, and Suno is not a bad word. I know that I know that there are some musicians out there. I'm looking at you, Jason, where it's like, no, but the software is a tool, especially when you're using it for the way he's going to use it here. It still takes musical creativity. It still takes some work to make the tool useful. We're not going to use it to make a song. We're going to use it to shape a vocal track.
Right. And again, to, as inspiration, essentially, rather than as a final product would be the way I'd look at it.
Yeah. A way to get from point A to B.
Yep.
So this AI will turn your bad vocals to mind-blowing in seconds.
Nice.
That's a big claim.
That is.
I always wanted to be a singer.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But would you believe me if I told you that in about 2 minutes, I turned that into this?
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away.
Or this?
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away.
Or this with some harmonies.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away.
Pretty crazy. It's the same lyrics, same melody, same rhythm, but now suddenly a professional singer. So let me show you the secret way on how to create professional vocals in a matter of minutes. So first thing first, we need to sync and record our vocal. So I already have some chords in here as well. So just simple piano, and then I recorded my vocal. Of course, I wrote down the lyrics, which I prefer to do myself, and then I sang the vocal. And it doesn't have to be good at all. You just sing the melody, the lyrics, and the rhythm as close as to what you imagine the end result to be.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away. So I try to find a way, maybe I'll find it another day.
Yeah, so that's me singing. I'm sure you can do better, but this is all you need to get professional vocals in 2 minutes. So now that we got this, we just need to export this into MP3 file and then we can continue. So once you got your MP3 file with you singing and the chords in the background, you can upload it to Suno. Now this is not a sponsored video at all, but I'm using Suno because I think it works the best for this type of thing. So all you need to do is click on audio and upload your MP3 file. Hit save, save to library, and now we have it here. Now what we're gonna do is hit remix and edit and do cover. It's probably the most reliable because it's gonna sort of re-sing the vocal you sang, but in a much better way. So hit cover, and it already auto-generates the lyrics based on what you sang, but I prefer to put in the original ones just in case it gets something wrong. So just hit it with the original lyrics, and then you can set up the style. Again, it's gonna auto set it up based on what it hears, but here you can set it based on what kind of result you are looking for. So just to test this out, let's do emotional piano and let's just hit create. So now it created a cover song from my original vocal.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away. So I try to find a way, maybe I'll find it.
Okay, so right off the bat, it's saying it exactly how I sang it, but just way better. But it's the same rhythm, same pronunciation, same melody, and the lyrics. And I feel like that's quite amazing because it's way better than just taking a vocal from like Splice or something and putting it on a song because everybody else is using the same vocal. But here you actually create the melody, the lyrics, the rhythm. So it starts from your creative input. Therefore, I don't really see a problem with it. Now, of course, it created a whole song with it, but you can just get the vocal by itself. Click on Get Stems, Vocal and Instrumental.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way.
So you can just download it, put it in your DAW. It will be the same BPM as your original song as well, so it will fit right in. And yeah, now you have a professional vocal created based on your creative input and you can use it in your song. I know people hate AI for different reasons, but I think using it as a tool like this is actually really useful. So I'm gonna do one more because I actually want to create a synthwave track from this. So I'm gonna set the style to synthwave and hit create. So I've generated a few vocals, got the stems, and this was my favorite. The BPM is already set to 100. And just one more time, this is the original.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away.
And this is the new one.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way.
And in this one, it actually did a second take where he sings in falsetto, which I really liked.
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way.
Beautiful. Now all you need to do is either set up your track around this vocal or add this vocal into your already existing track that it was meant for. So let me just go over the track I've created real quick and then we're gonna hear the vocal with the track. So it's a synthwave track. We've got the kick. We've got some cymbals. We've got snares. All of these samples are from my sample pack Synthwave Runner, which is available on staplesounds.com. We've also got bass, then chords. All of these sounds are also from the Synthwave Runner sample pack. These are the presets for Serum. Then we've got this melody. And then we've got this melody. So yeah, if you want to grab these sounds, all the samples and presets, check out Staple Sounds, link is below. You can get the Synthwave Runner Pack by itself, or you can grab Staple Access, which is one-time payment only, and you get access to all of our sample packs that we currently have, and all the future packs that will come out. You'll get those for free as well. So you get unlimited access to all of our packs forever, and you only pay once, so no monthly payments. So check it out, link is below. Let me show you the instrumental. And now, let's hear it with the vocal, let's hear the entire track. We've got something interesting in the end as well. Enjoy!
When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away. So I'll try to find a way. Maybe I'll find it another day. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away. So I'll try to find a way. Maybe I'll wait another day. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away from the troubles of yesterday. Maybe that's when I finally find a way. When I finally find a way, I cannot seem to get away. So I try to find a way. Maybe I'll wait another day.
Oh, I'm gonna get Glenn to sing falsetto this way.
Yeah, we can do that. We can get a recording going for that.
And that would be a good use for something like this when you don't have that kind of voice, but you want to utilize your voice to get that Michael Jackson high.
I'd be going for the oh god, the yodeling. What was the one with the
You talking the guy that sings that one, that famous
yeah.
song, like ha 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 ha.
No, not that one. It was, well, yeah, actually, that probably is it. I'm trying to Hocus Pocus by Focus. There we go. I knew it would come to me eventually. It's one of those things. But yes, Hocus Pocus by Focus is the song, and we'll check it out later at some point because that one has the yodeling in it. That is it's a lot of fun. So that's a good one.
Well, I'm gonna get you to yodel, and then I'm gonna get Ange to get the Glenn baritone.
There you go. We'll put them together.
Yeah, see, and that's a fun use of something like that. I know Suno right now and Udio, a lot of musicians are on one side or the other. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground on the AI debate for some, but hopefully this helps to like clear some of that and say, there are some usefulness for real musicians who are just looking for something a little different than what they're used to or what they can do. It is possible to use it as a tool.
Yeah. And again, I think a lot of the hate comes from people trying to monetize on this, because when it comes to, if you're going to monetize songs, then there are certain licensing questions. There are certain, when it comes down to, replacing human effort with just telling AI a couple quick things and churning out song after song after song and trying to monetize that. I can see why people would have issues with certain aspects of the way people use it.
Of course.
But at the same time, using it for fun, for doing, what I'm doing, what you're doing, like, this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's an excellent tool for that kind of thing. And if it turns into something to monetize, again, just make sure that whatever platform you're trying to monetize on, that you're making sure that you are, fully, complying with any of their rules and fully disclosing any kind of AI usage in any of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's where some of Jason's argument this week that he's been having with some of the users was that, like, if you're utilizing this, you won't be able to go throw this on Spotify and monetize like you would a song that you put together yourself, which is part of the reason to shy away from it if your goal is to sell tracks.
Now the
if
question was,
if
if you
you're
were
a
to
hobbyist,
Mhm.
if you are a hobbyist and it's really like I do this for fun, then it's not as dangerous to utilize this as long as you're transparent about it.
And again, the transparency, because if you were to take AI and again using a few prompts, whatever, you kind of massage it, you get it to make a song that you like, essentially, but there are things that you want to change about it. So you decide you go back and you just re-record using real instruments and you're playing them yourself, but you're re-recording all the parts. If the AI did a lot of the work of making the song, but a lot of the components were from what you did, and the final result is all you doing instruments,
Yeah.
and you're disclosing the fact that you used AI in the production of this, would you still have a problem with that? People who have problems with AI. That's what I'm wondering. Is like, is that at that level of reproduction where you're not in the final product using any AI generated content, but the ideas or maybe the structure was partially generated by AI and you just basically used AI to help you in the process of making the song?
Yeah,
That's where I'm wondering where
I
people fall on that.
I really see it more as the tool for conceptualization.
Mhm.
And if it helps you to get from there to there, a serious musician isn't going to be happy to just leave an important part like vocals or things like that to a layer that might complicate like your ability to even copyright it or
Mhm.
monetize it. A
Mhm. Yep.
serious musician is going to be like, okay, we got the idea down. Let's go get the recording now.
Yep. And even again, as we were saying before, even just to give a singer, a potential, human singer, the timing of the line, the
Mhm.
melody of the line, and again, where to do the pickup, how to follow it, and that's where what he did, and again, singing it without a singing voice, by his own admission, being able to do that and have the AI give you back something that would be usable for a human to then try to match, that would be good.
Yeah, yeah, I see it as a tool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're not being taken over.
No. But I am impressed though at how it's able to generate the different takes, all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of good stuff going on with that.
Yeah, yeah, good tip there at Arcade FL. And check out his staplesounds.com. If you are into synthwave, he's got some cool sounds there that are definitely worth checking out.
Oh yeah, looked good.
Yeah. Now we're going to get into some trends. Something that's trending and at the underscore tech trends. Another freshie, and we love our tech channels. I'm glad that we're bringing more of the tech and the hardware and things into our discussion and our followings because this is where I see all the cool toys and things that I want to get. And looking at some of these things that he's got in these videos, I want a motorcycle like
Oh yeah,
that.
everybody does.
Yeah. And what he's going to cover here is a tech that is definitely trending this year. These AI glasses, they've talked about them now for years. At one point, Google even did get some out there, but I don't think they were ready for prime time. There were a lot of places that actually banned them, casinos, for
Yeah.
example,
Oh yeah.
were like, nope,
No.
you're not coming into our casino with these things because the potential for misuse.
Yeah, I mean it would be far too easy just to have the glasses, look at the cards and have a little, even if it was a blackjack trainer app, for example, and tell you the proper play. I mean, that's already a problem in the casino's eyes, I'm sure.
Or in the case of blackjack and card counting or a
Mhm.
roulette wheel, which it's been proven that like roulette wheels can be biased, and some people learned how to detect a wheel that was actually starting to become biased and hit certain ones because you spin it enough times, eventually the mechanics, glasses could actually pick up on things like that and count cards in a way that the average human can't. So you do understand why they would be like, anybody utilizing this kind of technology in that environment, if we catch you doing it, and now it's going to be harder for them to catch them because a lot of them, they look like normal glasses. The only way you're going to know whether somebody's using something like that in that situation is either if you're catching it from the right angle or you see the activity
Or
and
the reflection in the eye, the light, hitting the eyes from behind. But they'll probably have some way of detecting that on the cameras, for example, if they're trying to stop that in a casino, because those, that is one of those things that they will be very much on top of that.
These things will be connecting to Wi-Fi and other things the same way they know when a person brings a camera or a phone nowadays into a Taylor Swift concert. I could see like devices like this in those situations getting turned off, locked out.
For sure. Now, another place that I could see problematic or people having problems with this kind of technology is when it was using for augmented reality and even just the distraction factor. Like there are places where you don't want people just walking out into a crosswalk with, while they're reading a text in this example. It's like you need to be careful how and when you use technology like this. And a lot of people, I see how people drive when they're just on a cell phone. And you introduce this now where you're just putting it right into the glasses. People think it's removing a layer of distraction, but at the same time, if your focus, goes from the road to all of a sudden you're, reading inside your glasses, and it's a text from your buddy and blah, 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 and you're not paying attention to the road, that's a problem. So you have to pay attention to when you're using technology.
Lamadamus actually has been hit by a couple of cars because of Pokemon Go. So it is a real thing. And Jason brings up a good point, is that EM detectors will likely become standard in certain environments for things like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something. They're going to have to do something.
But there are good uses as well.
Yeah, and we're promoting the good uses, not
right?
The bad ones.
but we just wanted to get out there that we do understand why some people have problems with these things, or where there are areas where you would want to not use this technology.
Yes, remember the glass is half full.
Yes.
Get ready to explore the world of AI glasses in 2026, where smart technology meets everyday convenience. These innovative wearable devices combine augmented reality, AI-powered features, and high-resolution displays in sleek, stylish designs. From real-time translation and navigation to virtual productivity tools and immersive entertainment, AI glasses are changing how we interact with the digital world. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 best AI glasses for 2026, highlighting the most advanced models and cutting-edge features. Whether for work, gaming, or creativity, these smart glasses show how wearable technology is transforming our daily lives and enhancing the way we experience the world around us. Vicha Luma Ultra. The Vicha Luma Ultra XR and AR glasses are designed as a premium wearable display that blends immersive visuals with practical augmented reality functionality. Built around advanced micro OLED technology, the glasses project a large virtual screen experience that feels comparable to using a full-sized monitor for work, gaming, or entertainment. A high refresh rate keeps motion smooth, while strong brightness and accurate colors maintain visual comfort during long viewing sessions. Integrated spatial audio adds depth and clarity without requiring external headphones, improving immersion. Comfort is emphasized through a lightweight frame, balanced weight distribution, adjustable nose pads, and built-in myopia correction that reduces dependence on prescription inserts. Beyond display quality, the Luma Ultra focuses on spatial computing. A multi-camera system enables depth sensing, real-world tracking, and hand gesture interaction when supported by compatible software. Digital content can respond naturally within physical space, creating more intuitive experiences. Features such as electrochromic lens control, multiple display modes, and real-time 2D to 3D conversion add flexibility. With simple USB-C connectivity and broad platform support through the Spacewalker ecosystem today. Rainio X3 Pro. Rainio X3 Pro is a next-generation AR smart glasses model built to bring practical artificial intelligence and augmented reality into daily life. Officially introduced by Rainio, the X3 Pro uses a full-color micro-LED display paired with an advanced waveguide optical system to project clear, bright visuals that remain visible even in outdoor environments. The transparent AR display creates a natural viewing experience where digital information blends smoothly with the real world. Powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon AR1 platform, the glasses handle on-device AI processing, spatial computing, and real-time AR tasks while maintaining a lightweight and comfortable design suitable for extended wear. A built-in sensor array with dual cameras supports spatial positioning, environment awareness, and object recognition, enabling contextual overlays and smart interactions. Running on RainOS 2.0, the X3 Pro offers AI translation, navigation guidance, call transcription, and first-person photo and video captured directly within the user's field of view. Support for AI agent apps and multimodal controls such as voice, touch, and connected devices makes the Rainio X3 Pro a strong example of how wearable AR is evolving into a practical everyday companion. Meta Ray-Ban Display Smart Glasses. Meta Ray-Ban Display Smart Glasses combine classic Ray-Ban design with advanced AI and heads-up display technology. The full-color micro-display is integrated into the right lens, visible only to the wearer, showing messages, navigation, AI responses, live captions, and search results. Announced at MetaConnect 2025, the glasses feature a 600 by 600 pixel display with up to 5000 nits brightness, ensuring clear visibility even outdoors. They include a 12-megapixel camera, open-ear speakers, and microphones, supporting apps like WhatsApp, Messenger, and music streaming. A key innovation is the Meta Neural Band, a wrist-worn controller using EMG sensors to detect subtle hand gestures for scrolling, selecting, and controlling features without touching the frames. Meta AI integration allows hands-free interaction through voice commands, live captions, real-time translation, and contextual information about the wearer's surroundings. Additional functions include turn-by-turn pedestrian navigation, camera previews, messaging overlays, and media controls, all seamlessly connected to a smartphone. With this combination of gesture control, AI features, and iconic style, Meta Ray-Ban Display Smart Glasses deliver a practical and futuristic wearable AR experience that blends functionality with everyday fashion. X-Real 1 Pro. X-Real 1 Pro are next-generation augmented reality glasses designed to provide immersive spatial displays and productivity across devices like phones, PCs, and the Steam Deck. With a 57 degrees field of view and Sony 0.55-inch micro OLED displays, the glasses deliver a large virtual screen that blends naturally into your environment. Powered by the X-Real X1 spatial computing chip, they offer native 3 DOF spatial tracking, ensuring smooth AR interactions without extra hardware. The optics feature the X-Prism system to reduce reflections and stray light, while electrochromic lenses can be adjusted between theater, shade, and clear modes to suit different lighting conditions. Each unit is calibrated for accurate color reproduction with delta E less than 3, and adjustable IPD ensures a comfortable fit for most users. Audio is handled through Bose-tuned speakers built into the frame, providing clear, balanced sound without headphones. The lightweight 87-gram design allows for extended use. An optional X-Real Eye modular camera support adds 6 DOF spatial anchoring and first-person video capture. X-Real 1 Pro combines immersive visuals, spatial computing, adjustable optics, and high-quality audio to deliver a versatile AR experience for work, entertainment, and creative tasks. HTC Vive Eagle. HTC Vive Eagle is HTC's latest AI-powered smart glasses designed to combine wearable comfort with advanced hands-free intelligence. Weighing under 49 grams and featuring premium Zeiss sun lenses, the glasses provide an ergonomic fit suitable for all-day use while maintaining a stylish look. A 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera allows users to capture photos and short videos using simple voice commands. The built-in Vive AI assistant supports major AI models like Google's Gemini and OpenAI's GPT, enabling tasks such as asking questions, setting reminders, and managing schedules without using a phone. One of the standout features is real-time translation in 13 languages, allowing users to read signs, menus, or text and hear spoken translations instantly. Photo-based translation tools further enhance convenience while traveling. Open-ear audio provides clear sound without blocking awareness of the surroundings, and the 235 mAh battery delivers up to 36 hours of standby time with fast magnetic charging. Data privacy is protected through local storage and AES 256 encryption. HTC Vive Eagle blends AI features, real-time translation, stylish wearable design, and long-lasting comfort to deliver a practical and intelligent hands-free computing experience for travelers, multitaskers, and tech enthusiasts. Even Realities G2. Even Realities G2 display smart glasses are designed as everyday wearable technology, blending subtle AR visuals with advanced AI while maintaining a classic eyewear style. The glasses feature a floating spatial display using crisp micro-LED projection, showing notifications, navigation, AI prompts, and contextual information directly in the user's field of view without blocking natural vision. A key feature is Conversate, a contextual AI system that tracks conversations and provides real-time suggestions, summaries, definitions, and follow-up prompts. Users can activate functions with the phrase, "Hey even," or via voice commands for quick access. The G2 supports real-time translation in multiple languages, while navigation tools and customizable dashboards keep essential information visible at a glance. Designed for comfort and privacy, the glasses have no outward-facing cameras or speakers, use titanium and magnesium frames, offer IP65 water and dust resistance, and include a charging case that supports multi-day battery life. Even Realities G2 works seamlessly with the Even R1 Smart Ring, allowing gesture-free control and smooth interaction. Combining discrete design, AI-driven contextual insights, and intuitive control, the G2 brings practical, everyday AR experiences to life. Inmo Air 3 AR Plus. Inmo Air 3 AR Plus smart glasses are wearable augmented reality devices that combine powerful visuals, intuitive controls, and AI-enhanced interaction in a sleek, all-in-one design. According to the official Inmo website, the Air 3 features a 1080p Sony Micro OLED waveguide display with up to 600 nits brightness and a 36 degrees field of view, delivering crisp, vivid AR visuals for apps, media, and productivity. The glasses run on a Qualcomm-powered system with 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, allowing users to run Android apps directly on the device or mirror screens from phones and computers. A 16-megapixel ultra-wide camera enables photo and 1080p video capture for easy sharing. Inmo Air 3 supports multiple control methods, including a 3DOF smart ring, touchpad, and voice commands, providing hands-free and flexible interaction. Users can multitask with floating virtual screens for work and entertainment. Developers can create customized AR experiences using official SDKs, App Store support, and the open Inmo Agent platform for AI-powered enhancements. Inmo Air 3 combines high-quality AR visuals, versatile controls, and AI-ready functionality, offering a portable, powerful, and integrated augmented reality experience for daily use. Meizu Star V. Meizu Star V smart glasses are part of Meizu's Flyme XR smart eyewear lineup, designed to bring AR and AI features into everyday wearable technology under the global Star V brand. Models like Star V View feature a retina-level immersive display equivalent to a 188-inch screen, powered by OLED technology for cinematic visuals and rich audio through custom chambers, all within a lightweight, comfortable frame. The Star V Air 2 AR smart glasses include a waveguide display with up to 2000 nits brightness, AI assistant support, real-time translation, teleprompter functions, voice interaction, navigation, and smart memo features, running on Meizu's Flyme XR 2.0 system. These smart glasses integrate seamlessly into the broader Flyme AI ecosystem, allowing AR visuals and intelligent virtual real interactions across daily tasks and entertainment scenarios. Some Star V models also support offline payment capabilities through collaborations like Alipay Plus, enabling transactions via voice commands and camera-based QR scanning. By combining immersive displays, AI-driven assistance, and ecosystem integration, Meizu Star V smart glasses offer users practical AR tools for entertainment, communication, productivity, and everyday convenience, demonstrating the evolution of wearable technology into functional and interactive devices for modern life. Halliday AI Smart Glasses. Halliday AI Smart Glasses are innovative smart eyewear that combine classic frame design with a hidden near-eye display and proactive AI assistance. According to the official Halliday product page, the glasses use a DigiWindow display module discreetly embedded in the upper right section of the frame, projecting information visible only to the wearer for subtle, hands-free access to smart features. Weighing between 28.5 and 35 grams, Halliday glasses are as light as regular eyewear and can accommodate prescription lenses, making them suitable for all-day use without a bulky tech appearance. The glasses connect to smartphones via Bluetooth and offer intuitive control through temple touchpads, an optional trackpad ring, and voice commands. Core AI features include AI translation, cheat sheets, audio memos, proactive insights, notifications, reminders, and music or text displays, all shown on the discrete internal display. While the exact AI model powering the assistant isn't specified, it is designed to provide contextual support and real-time information in your line of sight. Halliday AI smart glasses blend comfort, discrete display, and AI tools to offer practical everyday wearable intelligence. Rokid Max 2. Rokid Max 2 AR glasses are lightweight wearable display glasses designed to turn everyday screen time into a massive virtual experience. According to Rokid's official product page, Max 2 offers a virtual 215-inch display with 1080p resolution per eye, a 50 degrees field of view, and a 120Hz refresh rate for smooth visuals ideal for movies, gaming, and productivity. The glasses use bright optics with up to 600 nits brightness and a high contrast ratio, ensuring vivid virtual screens even in varied lighting conditions. Weighing just 75 grams, Max 2 is comfortable for all-day wear and includes built-in HD directional speakers and noise-cancelling microphones for private audio and voice interaction. Diopter adjustment from 0.00 diopters to -6.00 diopters allows users with nearsighted vision to see clearly without inserts. Connectivity with phones, tablets, laptops, and consoles is enabled via USB-C mirroring, making Max 2 a versatile display solution. When paired with Rokid Station, the glasses unlock a spatial computing ecosystem with multi-app spatial modes and large-screen productivity features. Rokid Max 2 combines high-definition visuals, lightweight comfort, and integrated audio to deliver a personal giant-screen AR experience for work and entertainment.
Oh, thanks for sharing the info.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, the wrist I like, and the ring I like even better. The touchscreen ring, whatever they were saying, touchpad ring, definitely very cool.
Well, in combination with something like that, we looked at the watch last week, the potential hologram watch that Apple and what was it?
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi is going to owe me a ring as well now.
Exactly.
And throw in some glasses. That when you start thinking like you can get translations. I'm in a foreign country.
That was huge. Real-time translation, whether visually on a menu or a sign, or whether it was spoken, you could turn it on to say, hey, listen to what they're saying and just show me in a screen, what the translation was. And then I'd be able to respond, verbally and have it show me, what I should say back, essentially.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. If you were James Bond or Maxwell Smart nowadays, you'd be pimping one of those stylish glasses, and the ring, the watch, everything would be part of your.
That's the thing, is they'd be a decade beyond that by now already. So they would already have the contact lens instead of the glasses and this and that. So it's, keeping it all completely secret.
And
they've tried that. I've seen some where they've tried that with the contact lens already. I don't know how good the results are yet. They're certainly not to that level of 1080p on a 50-degree field of view or anything like that. But
one of the problems when you're talking like screens at these, especially if like a contact lens would really could make some people go blind. Depends on your eyes.
And I mean, and the technology would have to be able, with contact lenses, soft contact lenses, at least, like you're folding those suckers all the way in half when you're taking them out or putting them in. So, I mean, it would have to be a very resilient screen or whatever you're making it out of. I understand why there are problems with contacts.
Well,
but at the same time, I was saying for the point of James Bond kind of a thing, it would definitely be, sneakier, let's say, than just, glasses that somebody from, slightly to the side behind you could see what you're seeing.
You saw some of that technology last week with the micro LEDs. So it's possible that they're going to get foldable contact lenses that
at 600 nits.
Yeah, well, it better be at least 4K or
Exactly.
or better.
Yeah. But no, I would, having not really used, I haven't really used any of the VR stuff. I've seen VR stuff in the past, but I haven't really used any of the new cutting edge stuff. So I'm sure that any of the ones that I would put on would be very impressive at this point, compared to, the none that I have been looking at. But at the same time, I am also of the school of thought where I don't like very bright stuff right in my eyes, because I'd like
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
and I try not to sit close to a TV, but I do still, sit relatively close. But my eyes have actually gotten better over the years rather than getting worse, which is odd. Most people, they start needing reading glasses, this and that, and I do own a pair of reading glasses, but I don't really have to wear them ever. It's one of those things that I got them because there are times where really small text and there's
Yeah.
no, no contrast, like not bright enough. It can be a problem. But at the same time, my eyes have gotten so good that I can read very small text at distance at my age, and that's, one of those things that isn't that normal.
I'll tell you, that'd be another use for something like this. If you could change a zoom mode, magnify mode, so that like I can't read small text anymore. In
Mhm.
the old days, we'd have to look at serial numbers on the back of the computer and what the hell model is this?
Yeah.
Um, I can't do that anymore. I end up taking my phone
Mhm.
and
Yep.
like magnifying it so I can read those tiny little numbers.
Yep.
Uh, that alone would be something worth spending 300 to 500 bucks for,
Mhm.
so that when I do deal with that, I don't have to go get a phone to actually do it.
On at least one of them, they mentioned the ability to adjust from 0 to -6 some diopters, and that's a lot of range there because, once you're out to like -4, -5 diopters, you're already getting to very bad eyesight. And, so that helps cover a lot of ground from 0 to 6.
Well, he covered a lot of ground there on the
Mhm.
different brands. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, 12 months ago, your choices,
Mhm.
slim pickings.
Yeah.
Now, some of the biggest names that you're hearing there
Mhm.
in the tech industry, they're all jumping on this bandwagon, and even names like Zeiss, one of those had Zeiss lenses. These are some of the best lenses for cameras
Mhm.
history, and now you're starting to see them incorporated into virtual glasses.
Mhm. Shows
That
they're serious. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are probably not gonna be cheap
No.
because in the old days with the cameras, you paid a premium for optics like that.
Mhm. For sure. And as we said, it's a slightly different ball game with, these and the projection and all that. Some of those that we looked at there was like more of a green monochrome screen, which brings me back to like early days of computing with, monochrome screens and, limited colors and all that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's also a power saving thing. Like a monochrome screen like that or display, it requires much less, and is, you're displaying less, you're not showing, photorealistic whatever if you're only showing green. But at the same time, what kind of data are you trying to show?
Yeah,
That's where, that's the important
and
part.
that's actually one of the thoughts I had when these things have to be powered,
Mhm.
and what kind of battery life are we talking? Where is the battery? And
How
you know,
heavy? Yeah.
yeah, like I'm sure those are some of the things that the early generations, because we're still early in
Mhm.
this technology.
Yeah.
Um, they'll get better and better as they ev- develop it more. But
I remember the early attempts when it was still a helmet, like,
yeah,
heavier than a bike helmet to just get the glasses on your head. And it's a, huge, heavy cable to get it connected to something because, I mean, they didn't have the ability or the batteries or any of that. So, like, there was enabling technology that we needed to get to. And now we're at the point where you can power, glasses that can do screens. Like they were saying, if you can get all day power out of those for screens, to use all day, that's impressive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And especially in a lightweight package like that.
It's funny that some of the features there and the approach, they're as advanced as those Apple glasses we looked
Mhm.
at earlier last year.
Yep.
And those things were like a helmet on your head. And
Mhm.
now, in the span of less than a year, you're seeing technology that is rivaling that
Mhm.
in most of those look pretty stylish,
Mhm.
fashionable. A couple of them, you're gonna look like a geek, but
Mhm. Well, and
the
also are you going to be using them while you're out and about? Are you walking down the street playing a video game, or is it more, you're sitting down at home playing a video game, but you still have them on while you're walking around, and you can do some of the stuff like, whether it's directions or whether it's keeping track of reminders and all that kind of stuff. You can do that while you're walking around without it being intrusive. But, people would notice more if you're sitting there doing wacky stuff in public, going around playing, racquetball, in the middle of the air for no reason.
Hey, if it improves your game.
It sure might, get you some exercise for sure.
And hopefully, if you're going to get hit by a car, it warns you.
And you warn them for sure. Somebody walking down the street swinging wildly, steer clear of that person.
Yeah. With that augmented reality side to this, these could take some of that augmented reality approach for those who want to play Pokemon Go. There's definitely a market for that.
Imagine people going around on one of those motorized one wheels with glasses on, doing augmented reality nonsense and just, going off into traffic and stuff. It's like, oh my God, I can see so many nightmare scenarios with this. At the same time, that's not a reason not to do it. It's just a reason to not do that with it.
Keep them away from Llama Damas.
Well, I've seen a couple people. There was one of the channels that Jason was watching at one point had somebody on, and I could just see whoever that was going and doing something silly like that.
We're definitely going to see some interesting use cases for what people use this technology for. What they're suggesting for what to use it for, very appealing, especially when you talk like universal translating.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Signs in a foreign country. All of a sudden, don't show me in centimeters, damn it. I want to see inches, convert.
And it would, and that's the thing is, in something like that, that's where it comes down to the interface. It comes down to, how you look at things, how you would have to signal it that you want to see translations of any, words, like any words that I go up and look at, if it's in my field of view and it's right here, for example, I want it to translate what's in this part. So I can be looking at a menu, I could be looking at train schedule, whatever, and it'll, translate it for me on the screen, a little panels next to it.
And keep in mind, it's not just visual. With some of those, their audio reception can translate in real time, like somebody's talking to you in a foreign language and you're hearing them. We might be at that Star Trek level now.
Yeah. And to me, I would almost rather I would rather see it on screen. Like I would rather have them talking in their language and just have it show me the translation in a little window. And then if I speak in English to them, it could show me, or again, if they had the same technology, they would be able to then see it on their side, on the screen.
I'd actually like to see it and hear it in mixed approach. It's nice to hear like how people are articulating in their own voice.
Yep.
And to be able to see it visually at the same time, you could talk to somebody in a totally different language and hold a conversation.
Yeah. I'm glad that we're at that point.
Yeah. It's cool being in the future.
Yeah. And the future is always on Thursday.
Yeah. And if you want to keep up with this, at @_tech trends is covering some of these cool things that are trending. This is definitely one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great stuff there. I'm definitely going to try to get a pair of those sometime in the future.
Indeed.
And something that I think might start trending more in the future as people who are utilizing AI and want to bring the AI engine into their local environment, not depend on the cloud, and may necessarily want to have their own sandboxed AI where they do testing. Developers, we've talked about programming tonight. I could see like some of the AI developers going towards solutions like this. And I'm glad I found this one because we've talked about it now for the last couple of years of bringing the AI engines in that cloud to our own machines, so we don't have to pay a ton of money to have it processed through Google Labs.
Yeah. Another reason that I had thought about more recently was the total control you could have over the training and what you're feeding as a training, as a training database into your engines there. Because one of the biggest problems you have with AI is, you see lawsuits happening where, they used our data in training
Yes.
without our permission. But if you have full control over the AI and the data set that you're feeding it, you could use only data where you've sourced it and that you have permission to source this data. Feed it only data that you're allowed to feed it, and then you're dealing with ethically fed AI essentially.
Key word there, because one of the biggest complaints and also one of the scariest things with these AI engine evolutions is adult content. And a lot of people want to utilize, and I'm not saying it necessarily in a bad way or a gross way. It's just a matter of like, I'll give you an example. I tried to make some videos for a horror movie, and surprisingly, it's hard to get an AI that will actually show blood. I had to not use the word blood. I had to use like red, red water, and in some cases it worked and it got around it like a loophole. But it's just silly to think like, hey, I'm making a movie. I need realistic looking blood, and yet this thing can show me realism, but it won't do something that it's been programmed like, oh, blood is bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it comes down to. That's really what happened in that case, most likely, because there is a certain amount of, a certain amount of editing, a certain amount of control that they've put onto these things. It comes down to what they've trained it on. They probably didn't train it on any models of images that had blood in them because they didn't want that to be, turning up in somebody's, they came up with a fairy tale setting and all of a sudden there's blood all over or something because it came in as a random element, or whatever.
They chose to be the moderators, the arbiters of what this AI is going to generate. And I get it. You don't want people getting carried away. Of course, there are going to be some freaky uses there. But at the same time, I don't want I don't want to be limited by companies' definitions of what's acceptable and what's not. The same way we deal with that kind of censorship on media platforms and everything else. I don't want them to be the deciders of what's acceptable or not. The public decides that. People decide that. And if you go do something freaky with it and then you go try to put that out there, then the public will be the first ones to tell you you're a freak. You don't need the company locking those doors. You need to let the public do a little bit of its own judgment and self-censoring. Yeah, otherwise, you better trust these companies to actually like be reasonable about how they dictate these things.
Yeah. And I'm sure if you were to try different models and different companies, and I'm sure you would find different results from different ones, where some are much more strict about something that they would, specifically program against showing something like that, and others would have it more open where it would allow things like that and not be as restrictive. But at the same time, it's not part of what they would have envisioned as the core purpose of what they're doing there.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, what you're seeing is those who are trying to stretch what they can do with these engines. And if they can't do it with Chat GPT or Claude or Grok, they're going to like underground deep think Chinese engines that can be run locally in some cases to accomplish what they can't do through general platforms. And it goes to show you that you can censor it at the public level, but you're never going to stop it at the private level.
Now you remember with I think it was called NVIDIA Canvas, maybe, where you could
Yeah.
like just sketch something out real quick, like this is a river and this is a rock, this is a this is a that, and it's like you're just
Yep.
drawing a couple of lines with color, and then you hit render, and boom, you get a photorealistic scene
Yeah.
of a nature scene that you just created in that shape, or whatever. Stuff like that. That was like early stages to me. Like that was. I mean, when did that come out? Even that was a couple of years at this point, but
2.5, 3. I mean, it's not that old.
it's not that long, but how far it's come since then to,
Yeah.
to see where, even with just that little bit of prompting, what we could do then at this point, you would be able to do the same thing that you were just talking about there. I remember even when we were doing some of the AI stuff, when I was making just, some just to have random AI background images. And some of them I was doing like the barbarian ones, for example. I would just tell it a style or an artist, and it would just make,
Oh,
a
your
scene.
Frazetta,
There you go. Yeah.
prompt.
Images. Mhm. And that's where, you could just tell it, a particular artist, a particular style, whatever it is, and it'll give you an image of that. And that's where you mentioned the blood. That would be one where the Frazetta images, I would expect to have a lot of something going on like that.
Well, yeah, if I'm doing Conan pictures, there's probably going to be blood and a lot of damsels in distress, and I want them to look realistic. And strangely, the AI is not as picky when it comes to the damsels, but
Mhm.
good luck getting blood on a sword with Conan on a rock, and without having to say it's red sauce.
See,
like
to me, I would look at it from the other side and say, okay, if it's not, if it's problematic, let's say, to get the image that I'm looking for because I can't get the blood on, I would just get the image that I want and just add the blood as an element. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that, to me, that's an easy edit. That's not a big deal. And you could even, as an additional thing, you could feed the AI a starter image and say, take this image and now add, red here into the designated areas, even if you wanted to. Like
Yeah,
you can do
and
stuff like that. So
that was actually another workaround that I did.
Mhm.
I had it generate something that wasn't the right color, but thankfully the color was different enough from everything else that
Mhm.
a simple chrome adjustment and poof,
Mhm.
now it is red. And
Yeah.
sucks that I have to do this to accomplish what I'm looking for, but like I said, there will
Mhm.
always be people who find a way to do something, even if you try to lock the technology that way.
Exactly. And again, it comes down to what you're using it for. And, in your case, you're using it to make a horror movie, and there's a reason why you want something to look like that. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want it to look stupid.
Mhm. Exactly. Like red water, man.
Yeah. Well, this at Better Stack, another freshie for us. And you can also check out betterstack.com. He's got a business that deals with data analytics and how to like really deal with massive amounts of data. And um, for companies out there, this kind of service and what he does is huge. Like job security up the yang for him. And what he's going to show us here is a product that he reviewed that I've been looking for something like this that can help you to take the devices that you might have in your network, your private network, phones, Raspberry Pi, right? Just for you, Glenn.
Yeah. Love it.
All these machines that I have. And if I want to build my own AI sandbox and develop in a private environment so I'm not limited by cloud tools and I don't want to pay a lot for this muffler,
Mhm.
which when you start cloud rendering, this is why all of those platforms are like you get credits, and if you
Yeah.
really want any credits, you got to pay a lot of money. And going this approach could save you a ton of money if you're really utilizing AI the way we're starting to as content developers. I don't need it for just one day for one project. I need it on a regular basis for all the projects that we do.
The other thing that we're looking at as we see this again enormously fast progression of of AI capabilities, So even if we look at models from a couple of months ago and models from a year ago, there's a huge difference already, right? So if we look at the models from today and the models from a couple of months from now, there's going to be another huge difference jumping forward like that. So it's a matter of seeing where we are, where we're headed, and which models have the potential to get us in that direction the fastest, right? So we could also look backwards and say, okay, how far back do we have to look to find the models that could adequately do the task that we're looking to do? Because you don't always need the cutting edge model to do everything, today. So you can go back a couple models and use the local hardware to power that.
And if you're doing something like this, you may not have the data storage or the processing power for some models. So your choices will start to get a little limited there if you need more power and data, especially how it gets stored with these things. That's part of what the Better Stack service is all about, is balancing and understanding all of that, mixing in the analytics of traffic and, super important stuff for companies and developers. It's no longer just a SQL database sitting in a back room. There's a lot more going on now.
Exactly.
I think you're going to be fascinated with this toy, and I wouldn't even call it a toy. I'd call it a super tool for bringing an AI environment into your local resources, which I thought was going to be super, super complicated, but he assures you it's not.
Yes.
If you build with AI, then you know cloud inference quietly drains your money, it limits what you can test, and it forces your data through someone else's servers. There's this tool called XO, and XO changes all that. Instead of paying forever, you use the hardware you already own, and instead of trusting one provider, everything stays local. This is about control, cost, and being able to experiment on your own. This is where things start to get interesting. We have videos coming out all the time. Be sure to subscribe. So really, XO is an open source tool that lets you build a peer-to-peer AI cluster on everyday devices. I want you to think about MacBooks, Raspberry Pis, all that fun stuff. Now, you might assume that that means manual networking and a lot of setup. That's not actually what happens. XO auto-discovers devices already on your local network automatically. The surprise is not that it actually works, but rather how little effort it takes to set up. XO looks at your network and it measures bandwidth, latency, and available memory. Then it decides how to split up the model. So instead of just forcing one machine to load everything, XO shards the model across multiple devices using tensor and pipeline parallelism. This just means faster inference and shared memory. This is also basically how models like DeepSeek v3 become possible locally. And this is where expectations break again. Most people just assume mixed hardware breaks performance. Okay, but for this, that's not really the case. A MacBook Pro with an M4 Pro chip could potentially work alongside a Raspberry Pi. That would be on the CPU part. Mac OS GPUs run through Apple's MLX framework, and Linux systems fall back to CPUs. It's not about being perfect by any means. No, it's not going to be. It's more about pooling from what you already have. And the flexibility is insane. Plus the fact that it's blown up on GitHub and it seems people are really putting this to use. The setup sounds complex, talking about it, but it was actually a lot easier than I thought. Once you see it happen, everything else makes sense. Let me show you guys. My machine here isn't connected to anything special. It's a Mac M4 Pro. No config files, no IP addresses. I launch XO, and that's it. The first time you run it takes some time to set up, but then it's good to go. I'm only on the M4 Pro here doing this, but if you have other machines, you're going to see them start to pop up automatically. So it's all that real-time discovery happening in action. Now I'll send a prompt using the OpenAI style endpoint. Nothing crazy, let's just do the simple prompt. The point here isn't speed, the point is that it already works. At this moment, the model split across machines without me touching anything. Well, in my case, it's one machine. If there's more, it splits things up without touching things. This is the part people don't actually think about. On supported Apple hardware, EXO enables day 0 RDMA over Thunderbolt 5. All this means is GPU to GPU memory transfers without bouncing through the CPU. So latency drops a lot, and the machines start behaving like a single system. This isn't just theoretical. Community benchmarks, like I came across Jeff Greeling's papers, his papers show 4 M3 Ultra Max Studios running Qwen 3 235B at around 32 tokens per second. EXO Labs themselves ran DeepSeek V3 671B on 8 M4 Mac Minis with 5 12GB pulled memory. Mixed hardware works, wired setup scales better than Wi-Fi. Power usage goes up, but it's still small compared to cloud GPUs. Now, EXO proves something important here. Running serious AI locally is no longer unrealistic. It's practical. Well, that is if you just happen to have a few MacBooks laying around, which I get it. Most people don't. I don't either. But you don't need a cloud bill, and you don't need to hand over your data. You just need the machines. Remember, it's not perfect by any means, but for doing a fully local setup like this, it is pretty cool to see what we can do from pulling from our own resources. We'll see you guys in another video.
Oh, I'm gonna get me one of those.
And you are the person who has the hardware sitting around. I mean, you can build quite a cluster just from what you've got there.
Well, that's just it. When he's mentioning like GPU to GPU farming like that, you know, in the old days when you were doing 3D rendering and especially at the beginning of like the 3D like evolution, companies had to outsource to farms to like generate simple 3D animations that were just a couple of minutes because it took forever. We're now talking about farming like AI logic, and it's gone beyond just the visuals here to everything.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it's growing so fast in speed and in scale and in the things that you can do with it. People are finding new use cases for it all the time.
Well, and as he mentions, like, you know, if you're going to do this, speed isn't necessarily going to be the benefit you get from bringing something in house like that.
But having
But
the hardware is. I mean,
yeah,
even if we just went back to early 2000s, let's say, there were in a business environment, like we had at one point a room where we had 100 PCs that were just sitting on a shelf, idle, like not on, just sitting there waiting. Where if somebody's machine broke, we could just grab it off the shelf, start throwing their profile on it, bring it out to their desk, and have them up and running. Like if their power supply failed, for example. But if you took that room of 100 spare PCs forward to today, you could set up a ridiculous cluster and do some ridiculous in-house stuff
if
with
they're
them.
sitting there doing nothing but waiting to be a backup, then you might as well make some lemonade out of those lemons.
But again, you'd be using the power. So there's you still come back to the whole data center power hungry.
Yeah, well, and he did mention like power usage does go up, but depending on what, hey, I've got two RTX 4000s. I've got a 2000 here and a 5000 in that box. It's already using power for a lot of what I'm doing. If I could unify all four of those RTXs and add on the CPUs that I've got between everything
and all the memory,
and all the memory, get these new AI CPUs that are coming out incorporated into the whole mix, I might be able to build my own little AI robot brain in this little farm.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're one of the few people who has the hardware sitting around to do a lot of that. And you'd be surprised at what you could have. But it does come back to, he'd mentioned the Thunderbolt as far as the connection and being able to go from GPU to GPU.
Well, if you want to get
scenario,
if you want to keep your speed up, your pipes are going to have to be able to complement it. Otherwise, you don't want to be on some 100 megabit network and like
you're throttling yourself at that point.
Yeah, you're actually only as fast as your weakest link there.
Yep, exactly. That's the key.
Yeah. Well, I love knowing that there's something like this out there. I figured somebody would, approach something like this, and that was great information for me. This
Yeah.
is something that I've been like looking for.
And as we were mentioning, like if you had, those killer graphics cards on good machines, good gaming PCs in your setup, and you also had a Raspberry Pi, in the old days, you would think everything would dumb itself down to the speed of the Raspberry Pi. But in this case, you're actually only sending a couple of threads at it as opposed.
Because the way it's actually managing and allocating things, I've got 3 pies sitting back there. If it'll recognize every one of these devices, shit, I got about 50 different devices between the phones, the pies, and all the hand-me-down computers that I've gotten over the years.
And that's the thing, is if you had the one kind of AI controller sitting over all of it, being able to multi-thread and split everything out and do that, like all of the rendering that you do for video and all that kind of stuff, if you could have that split across that network in a good way, you'd be able to cut those times down a lot.
If I could cut the 15 minutes I have to wait for After Effects to do some of the things I'm working on in this project, if I could cut that 15 minutes down to even 5 minutes, time is money.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is if you had 3 machines sitting next to each other and they were able to use all those resources well, then you would be cutting it down by a third, essentially, because you're cutting the job into 3 parts.
Yeah. Which means if I'm getting paid by hour, I'm getting paid more.
Yeah. Or you get more done faster, more free time.
Yeah. Definitely for me, I know that one was a little more technical than we normally get into, but for me, that's the toy that like foaming at the mouth for.
Yeah. And that's kind of, again, when we talked about, the early days of the Beowulf cluster, to me, the whole thought was, well, that's got to be one, really good thing that you got sitting at the top there in order to split the process and split everything out into these, separate threads and all that, and have everything recombine all as at the same, at the right timing and all of that, getting everything shuffled back together.
Well,
that's all. It's tricky, but they've worked it all out.
And it makes sense, this kind of approach for this particular. It's the same as what we dealt with RAID, with hard drives, and if you stripe the drives, you'll get faster access because you're splitting up the data across multiple drives. All the like redundant technologies and approaches that we've seen in the past are now starting to get applied at this AI level.
Yeah.
And this AI can allocate and manage that shit way better.
Definitely. And it's gotten to a great point, like we said, and being able for it to just auto recognize the hardware and set itself up, that's taking a huge part of the overhead problem of, getting set up in the first place off of what it used to always be. Everybody was always a problem with getting it all set up. Oh, got to get the networking, got to get everything, the timing, you got to get everything all squared away just right.
I got a gigabit network, so I mean, now I still want to upgrade it because now they got even faster. But at least I'm not like 2005 speeds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is, I mean, you've seen quite a progression from where you're sitting, because for your internet access, like you had
I got
terrible access.
I got Wi-Fi 7 now.
Yeah, but you had some terrible access for a long time there. So you've seen the progression and how fast it went from like how bad your access was, and then how much better it's gotten over time.
Yeah, and hopefully Starlink is continuously getting better. Apparently they lowered a ton of satellites in the last couple of months, and by doing so, they're trying to go for gigabit like internet speeds. Hopefully it's not so low that like satellites start dropping out of the sky, but
well, remember that they did have that issue at one point where the problem was that a solar storm, the amount of energy that hit the Earth actually caused the atmosphere to balloon up a little bit and caused the satellites to have more drag on them, and they did start dropping out of the sky in some cases. But
yeah, fortunately it wasn't a ton, and they in some cases, some of those they were looking. Elon's not stupid. He's not putting these things out there with the intent that like they're going to be out there forever. Most of these are disposable. They are meant to be replaced within a 3 to 5 year period. So, they're trying to get the third gens up there and the big dogs for the faster speeds. So as long as these things aren't falling on people's houses and things like that,
Well,
then
that's one part of it. The other part is Kessler syndrome, where if they start colliding, that's a
yeah.
problem, and it's not them specifically, but just satellites in general, satellite
Uh,
space
uh,
junk, any of it.
we looked at the space junk map and it's disgusting.
It's not only is it disgusting, but I saw an article just a couple days ago that was talking about the fact that mathematically we're literally only about 2 days away from a Kessler syndrome problem happening if we were to lose communication to the satellites, because there are so many adjustments that are made so frequently to all of the satellites, because there's so many of them up there, and there's essentially going to be a collision every few minutes if there isn't an adjustment made somewhere to make things get out of each other's way. That's where it's kind of scary, because once we do get into that territory of Kessler syndrome, where things, something breaks and the things that it breaks into are now going in random directions at ridiculous speeds, and they crash into other things that cause a whole cascade of new particles, and all of a sudden entire orbits can become unusable. Space travel can become impossible for us from Earth if these problems magnify to a degree. So we got to be careful about what we destroy out there as satellites. And when we do,
oh yeah,
have
cleaning
satellites
it up is not going to be easy.
it's got to coming down is the better thing. Like if it does come down and burn up in the atmosphere before it lands on houses, as you mentioned, burning up over the ocean, good. Landing on houses, bad. And bursting into pieces out there, bad. Let's not do either of those.
Unless you like fireworks.
We do not like the fireworks, because I mean we've had that happen already, where I believe it was the Chinese at one point did a test where they blew up a satellite. I believe Russia has done that before. I mean, there've been a few cases where there have been satellites that have been blown up in orbit and caused a lot of debris that is being tracked as some of those things that we watch from down here. But it is a junkyard up there, and we do have to be very careful.
Yes, and we do have to have a space night, because we are both space nuts. Just like IT, I could talk space all night, and I'll get something cooked up for that. Because satellites, especially, the way I'm having to use them now, there's a lot that's going on there. So I will dig up some interesting things there, and I know the perfect channels to go to.
And even the light pollution side of it, where people were talking about, with so many satellites in the sky, it's causing problems for astronomers, like trying to look at the stars.
Yeah. With what they've been trying to watch, like the whole this comet, is it a spaceship? Some of this noise actually got in the way there.
Yeah, exactly.
And for channels that are worth going to, at Better Stack on YouTube. And if you're interested in the services that he provides, big companies, this is where, complete information management, data management, everything. These are the companies that provide total solutions. Betterstack.com. If you do run a big company needing a solution to all your information management, data storage, and analytics of everything, these are the places you would want to start.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love the tip on that XO. I'm going to be doing some homework on that, see what the cost is. I want one.
Yeah, you should definitely get it.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely would use it. Not just to flip me around. I'd use it for everything.
Exactly. I'd put that stuff on everything.
Yeah. That's one of the most IT centric nights we've had in a while.
Yeah, I like it. Always good.
Yeah. Go figure, AI made us do it.
Yeah. And again, with the pace of it, we're going to have to do it more often in order to stay on top of it, because if we let too much time go by, it's a whole new field, and it's completely different.
And the question we asked tonight, whether AI is a tool or a takeover, we're going to be asking it throughout this year. So tonight we really focused on tool, because that's where I think both of us come from. I'm not scared of Terminator like popping up tomorrow. I think the bigger danger is the humans that are utilizing the AI, not the AI itself. And we need to learn to be more responsible with it, transparent, like you said, and see where the benefits are. The glass is half full.
And AGI is a whole different thing. Like, people
Yeah.
talk about artificial intelligence and I mean, a lot of times I think that when people talk about AI, they think they're talking about AGI, artificial general intelligence, where you're talking about an AI who is a thinking, essentially a thinking creature that is a digital creature, let's say. But that's not where we are at this point at all. And we're not even close to that at this point, really. A lot of these models are starting to kind of, but
yeah, I'd say about 5 more years.
I mean, even 5 years might be too much. I mean, that's the thing is this stuff is going so fast, even though we're not near it yet. Like we don't have anything that's really close, but in 2 years it could come out of nowhere and just be here. So I mean, that's where we have to be aware.
Every once in a while we get surprised by some announcement from some company, and it's like, wait a minute, you made what?
Well, also, how many of the people who are prompting AI are trying to make an artificial general intelligence, and how long will it be before it can? I mean, it could be that it accidentally writes itself. I mean, that's kind of where we are at this point.
Hey, they've been asking AI, like, where did the universe come from? Like, they've been really pushing some serious questions at it. And some of those results, we might have another night where we go take a look at some of that, because it's all over the place.
A lot of that is the large language models, and a lot of that is guessing the next word based on the last words that it saw. So it's basically, what did we train it with, and what were those answers like? And that's where we start getting into that stuff. But a lot of that can be hallucination, and the AI confidently stating things. The principle is this, and have no idea of what it actually is. But
with what we learned tonight about like where some of that modeling is going, and the different approaches we can take now, we'll have to look at those bigger questions again.
Now, for me, like some of the bigger places I want to see the AI start focusing, or start focusing questions that we point at AI, let's say, things like the periodic table and finding the island of stability, finding new elements that are beyond what we've seen so far, and, reasonable ways to make them. Fusion products, like what are good elements to use for fusion? We already have ways of doing things, but there could be ones that we haven't thought of, or ways that we've dismissed that with a little tweak could be better. AI could help us with some of these things, but I don't expect it to come up with scientific principles out of nowhere. But it was very promising when they mentioned early on how highly a lot of these new models score on some of the scientific tests and the mathematics tests, because a lot of those are not just memorization type things. I mean, these are tests that they are giving it, and they're not training the model to specifically beat the test. They are giving the test to the model to see how it performs as if it were a person.
We don't need an IQ test. We need a GQ test.
Let's do it.
And we'll be back to give that test again and again every Thursday.
Every Thursday, starting next Thursday. Let's do that.
Yes. First, we got to come up with the questions.
Yes. All right. You guys can send us some in too. Let's do that.
All right. We'll see you next Thursday, and this will be a reoccurring theme this year. So off to a good start, Glenn.
We will talk more shh IT next Thursday. Take care.
We'll see you then.
Yep.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and MIDI too. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac, and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle.
love you, oh loves. Do you have those? Do you wanna share them with me? I love you, oh loves. Oh, do you have those? I'd like to share mine with you. Can we share? Are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread love or hate? Are you gonna spread love